Welcome to Spurs Version TV. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you guys wherever you are in the world, right? Today is a game that we're coming up against Newcastle in Seoul. We've got our news from our captain. He says that he will be leaving the club, and I'll give him the big up for him being honest, right? Coming up and telling us and not giving us speculations whether he's going to be here or whether he's not going to be here, right? And to tell the truth, guys, I really saw that when he was in Hong Kong. He didn't look too happy, right? He was a bit dejected. He wasn't smiling a lot. So all I can say is that big up, Sonny. You'll always be a legend. You'll always be welcome back. You know, you are the only Asian to win the Golden Boot, right? That gives us pride in Asia and all that. But before I go on, big up to Queen Ellie, right? Queen Ellie, big up to Ellie, right? Big up Eugene, right? Technically played good match, right? Versus the Scum. Right, the fifth and got a well-deserved victory, right? So organized, solid at the back. That's what I was telling Mani earlier. And Mani's an Arsenal fan, big up to Mani, old good friend, and a very practical, reliable Arsenal fan, not those who go deluded. Right? And of course, the big up to Eva Man. Eva Man was in that stadium for that win with her son and daughter, right? And Eva says, "Hi, Eugene, big up. Sorry, wasn't able to reply message on Thursday night. Yeah, was too busy watching the game. Yeah, I was singing and screaming, literally lost my voice. Yeah, Eva, big up. I know, enjoy yourself, right? I wish I was able to be there with you guys, right, and enjoying it. It was fabulous, and the vibes I had was amazing. But sadly, it was the last time that I see Sonny playing with Spurs, and so sad to hear that the day after. Yeah, I know. But Eva, like I said before, right, through all the pictures and all the videos coming up, I got this funny feeling Sonny was going to leave, right? And I've been saying it for some time, right? And of course, Eva says that he saw Sim from and David from We Are Tottenham TV, Chris Cowlin, James Black, Don Robbie. I even saw Don Robbie and Lee Gunner. Yeah, send my regards to them, right, from AFTV, right, and of course the AFTV crew, right. And big up, Eva. Thanks for your support, right. She's always been a good supporter here, right. So coming to it, I can say that, you know, I put a lot of links out there. Any of you guys want to come in and say a few words for Sonny, right, and your thoughts, right? I'm going to put the link out into the chats, right? If you want to join me, right? Have a few words about, you know, he is our captain. He is a legend, right? He's the only one that stayed back and helped us lift that trophy. So I'll always give it to him, right? And of course, there'll be a lot of sad South Korean fans today, right? But let's hope that, you know, a lot of the South Korean fans who are actually Sonny fans will still continue to be Spurs fans and support the club along the way. And don't forget, we still have Yang, right? Yeah, Yang, we've just got him from Korea, South Korea too. But of course, it comes down to who's going to replace Son and all that. But as for today, we ain't going to go into the transfers and all that, right? Of course, we know being Spurs, we do need that couple more or 3 or 4 more experienced and solid and good quality players to come in to bring us to a higher level and to actually challenge Mani, right, and Arsenal for a better league position. But we'll never know. But before we go on, Mani, how have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been doing good, thank you, Eugene. Thanks for, you know, inviting me to your watch-alongs. I'm sorry I couldn't attend the previous ones, including the one where you celebrated your birthday, of course, and I hope you had a wonderful day. I mean, you know...
Yeah, a wonderful day. We beat you guys.
Of course. So, yeah, you got a nice present there. A nice gift from our goalkeeper and our so-called left back. But apart from that, I've been fine. The nice thing is that without, you know, too much news regarding Arsenal, I've sort of been able to, you know, enjoy the summer. I've actually been focused a lot more on the cricket between England and India. And in fact, it is, I mean, the 4th day's play is going on live right now, and I want to try and check what's going on here. Oh, England have lost another wicket, and they need another 287 runs. Both the openers are gone, and I won't speak anymore because I'm not too sure that cricket's very popular in your neck of the woods. It is played quite often in Singapore.
Cricket too. No, to tell you the truth, I used to watch cricket too, you know, for once in a while, last time. But after that, yeah, the focus was more on football. Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is, right? So at the moment in time now, all I can say is that, you know, for being an Arsenal fan, right, you should be happy. You actually brought in a few good players, right? You got Zubamendi in, You got Gyökeres in and all that. Do you feel optimistic this season that you're going to actually win that league title?
You know the answer, Eugene. No. I mean, because for every one or two good players we sign a couple of people who are so-so, if you understand the vernacular. I mean, why our manager saw it fit to go for Noni Madueke, I will never know. I'm reminded of a famous Pet Shop Boys song. I don't know why, I don't know how. Didn't like Mikel then. I hate him now. I've seen him sign Blues rejects, still wanting more. Add another number to the score. And then, of course, another one in Kepa, who found his level at Bournemouth, but I just don't think his days of being a serious first-string goalkeeper are now gone, because he even went on loan to Real Madrid and was the starting goalkeeper there under Ancelotti for a bit of time, but even then he couldn't keep up that momentum and lost his place. And there's still some doubt over some of our existing players. I'm just glad that we've made a few, outlays, and we've sold some players on. We've seen Georgie Porgy go back to Brazil to play for Flamengo. I think Gabriel Jesus, believe it or not, has also gone back to Brazil. Maybe Flamengo or some other club to play on loan. I think I'll have to check that up and confirm it. We said goodbye to our Asian, the Tommy Gun, and our left-back issue is still a problem, as you can see from that ridiculous escapade involving Miles Lewis-Skelly. And when he played for England against Senegal, he literally was, all over the shop. And it just... So listen, no, there are still some deep-seated problems. And signing a couple of quality players will not solve that. I am hopeful that Gyökeres will prove to be a good signing. The big issue I have with Zubimendi is that not only has Arteta inadvertently reunited that Real Sociedad midfield along with Marino and Odegaard, he just seems to be a little bit slow. I don't know if he's necessarily going to, really impact the game as much. And so a lot will be expected of Declan Rice, especially with Thomas Partey now gone. And I definitely don't want to say anything about him. So listen. I've learned over the years, dear sir, that when it comes to Arsenal, optimism is wasted. Just let the chips fall where they may, play the hand you've been dealt, and of course, as Arteta would say, shut your mouth and eat it.
And yes, big up you, man. They're coming out now. You're about 30 seconds ahead of me. Yep, the players are coming out. Yeah, to tell the truth, right, Manny? Because even being a Spurs fan, right? We've been shouting that you guys needed an out-and-out number 9 for the past 2-3 seasons, right? To actually bring you up the next level. But I'm so surprised that it's taken him so long to reach that level, to understand that what he needs. And we did see in the game on Thursday, right? Kai Havertz isn't that player. You guys know. And I won't judge Gyökeres at the moment because he came on for 18 minutes, 15 minutes or so. What can you do about that? But it is a preseason game, right? And like I told you, whenever it's a North London derby, it is never a friendly, right? It is. We will accept that, And I will say that I will take pride that we did beat you, but of course, let's hope that when it comes to the actual games that we have to play when it's competitive, let's see where the level goes to. Everything's preseason at the moment. Our preseason hasn't actually went well because we've been drawing most of our games, right? Apart from beating you guys on Thursday, right? And beat you by 1-0. Only thing I can say is that I'm a bit more happier with our defense. It looks a bit more composed, a little bit more solid. You guys had 13 corners or 15 corners and how many 10 attacking free kicks and all that. And we were able to get to it and defend well, right? Because last season, we know we were very weak in that positions. So I'm happy with that, right? But let's move on from there. Let's go on to today's game. We all know that today is most probably Sonny's last game in the Spurs jersey. He did come out to say that he will be leaving. That's why I'm giving him his props, because he has came out and told us fans that he will be leaving instead of letting us Spurs fans speculate whether he's going or not going, right? And he's come out early to say it. That means that he's telling us fans that he's leaving, and he's telling the board, right? Idiots, please get a replacement for me, right? You got 1 month before the league starts, right? Sorry, you got 1 month before the window closes. Less than 1 month before the window closes. Get a good replacement for me, right? Because what I've seen recently, right, we can't rely on Odeber or Tell, right, to cover that wing that Sonny plays in, And the thing is that, remember, we have this scenario with Eze. You guys are looking to get him. We were supposed to get him two transfer windows ago, but everything's still in the air. That's how I'm saying. But before we go on, Manny, let's get down to the lineup. The starting lineup is Vicario, Romero, Danso, Pedro Porro, Davis, Sarr, Gray, Benton Cole, Sonny as captain, Johnson, and Tell. Look at our front line. You get what I'm saying? We've got Son, Johnson, and Tell. Son will be gone, right? Johnson is, a meh kind of footballer. Last season, he got his goals more based on tap-ins, right? But we can't take that away from him, right? He did score the goals. Yep, he deserves that. But apart from being an actual footballer, he was he's not up to the standard, right? I got my nickname for him, and you know that, Money, right? And Tell coming in, Tell reminds me of Timo Werner. You remember? Came in, right, for 6 months, didn't show much, and then we re-signed him for another year. And the problem with Tell is, I know a lot of players think that he has potential, and he's young, and let's hope, Frank can coach him to become better. But the problem is that you can't coach a player overnight, Manny. We all know that, right? Players need time. Unless you're proven, you show me. Unless you go out there and get an Eze, right? A Leon, right? Or a Mitoma, right? Then it'll give me more confidence and more feeling that we can make something out of this. But at this moment in time, all I can say, sit back and we look. And then the chat group, if you look at the subs, right? We got Vicario, Austin, Gunter, Bissouma, Vuskovic, Abbott, Donnelly, Spence, Yang, Maddis, Odeberg, Richie, and Langsher. There are about 3 or 4 players in there, which I would say they will be part of that first 15 players that will play in the first 11, right? But apart from that, right, you look at the names down there, they're all youngsters, right? Vuskovic, if I'm not mistaken, did you watch the game he played against Reading? He showed what he could do, but that was against Reading, guys, right? Reading is a League One team. Now we're talking that you're going to the Premier League, right? And you're going into the what's called Champions League. We need better, right? And to tell the truth, whilst you are getting Zubamendi and Gyökeres, right? Apart from Kudos, right? We do have Kudos. Guys, I think I missed up Kudos' name. Kudos is in there too, in the subs, right? That's the only thing we have, because the rest of the things are we signed Tell, we signed Tell, we got Dan Sloan as a defender, we brought in Takai, a young Japanese defender, right? And that's it, apart from Kudos. So for me, is that I think your transfer window now it's a bit better than ours. What do you think about it?
It's a bit better, and I'm not going to deny that. And once again, that really is a failing of the board, because listen, when you make a decision to sack the bloke who made history by winning a European trophy, joining Bill Nicholson and Keith Birkinshaw as one of the only people to do that, and you have the gall to give an interview by saying, well, it was an emotional decision, but we cannot run a football club based on emotions. We have big targets. We need to win the Premier League and the Champions League. Well, you've just proven that for the most part, you're full of hot air. And if you are willing to make these transfers now, why couldn't you have had the damn decency to, support Ange when he was going through that horrible injury crisis? I think it was only when things got really bad and, the feces hit the fan that you made some of these purchases. And even then, I think you only got some Danso and one other chap coming in. It might have been, I think it was Tell. I don't remember.
Yeah, Tell and Danso came in January.
Yes, that's right. So you can't just, try to pull the wool over our eyes. You cannot serve me crap and call it chicken curry. You can't do that for many of us. And so I'm not you, I'm talking about Levy. So now he's got to sit in a situation where he literally has to put his dosh where his mouth is and really show that he is serious about building something. And
yeah, I know.
I think, when you made the decision to sign Thomas Frank, I think it's probably clear that in Levy, he sees him as someone who could be a reminder in some ways of Pochettino. And I remember that wonderful interview you did with Craig from Up the Cherries in All Departments, where you said, you absolutely adored Pochettino, and what he was trying to do was, build something and start from the ground up and really work with the players he had. And, you almost reached a kind of zenith by finishing second in the Premier League in 2017 and reaching the final of the Champions League in 2019. And then after a few months into the following season, he gets sacked, and that pot stirrer, Jose Mourinho, comes in. I mean, I have to say this about Mourinho. I think he's done his dash. He can do well in certain leagues, but his days of being one of the best managers in the world are long gone. But as always, Levy is the problem. And one of the reasons why I like, coming on these streams with you is that although we may be rivals, we share the same, gripes. The fish always rots from the head downwards.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Right. And, all the PR BS that comes from the club and the owners and the chairman and all that. The only things I've always said, right? Don't talk, show. Show me your ambitions, right? And like you're saying, right, we never had shown any ambitions. Like last season when we lifted the Europa League, right, and we get into the Champions League, right, you should be showing us the ambitions that we are moving up, right? But guys, the game has started, right, and Spurs has lifted the ball over the top, and Nick Pope kicks the ball up, right? At the moment, the game is a bit back and forth, right? Like I said, right, this game is going to be a friendly. I don't know any kind of hard tackles will be coming in, and of course, LAFC, right? Who is supposed to be signing Son. Oh, Nick Pope takes it off for a corner. That's a weird thing to do. And Eva, man, if I'm not mistaken, you're about 30 seconds ahead of me, or nearly a minute ahead of me, right? We've got a corner, and I guess there's nothing happened from this corner. And Tell is taking corner. Tell hits the corner. No. And okay, good shot. Straight at Pope. Do you have the game on, Manny? Hold on, Manny's putting up a jet. He'll be back. All right. We can see what's going on now. All right, the ball goes out. It's not a good corner from Tell, but it squeezes out to Star. Star smashes it onto the ground. It pops up. 1-0. So quickly. All right. Spurs leading 1-0. Johnson. Okay. Steals the ball back. And Johnson shoots out from the top. Okay, big up. We're 1-0 up. Yeah, even man. Johnson scored as well. We were talking about Johnson, right? That's a good one by Johnson. Okay, let's see how that goes. Let me get a glimpse of replay. All right, while you change this. I think we steal the ball from. Let's catch out the replay. Press, we steals the ball back, and he shoots. Pope shoots will do better. That's a good one from Johnson, right? First time seeing him shoot out from the outside the box. Yeah, big up to Johnson. Johnson scores. Right. And Johnson does the Sonny square. Yeah. Guys, and today to tell the truth, right? The whole game is all tribute to Son Heung-min. Right. And he looks happy. He looks happy for Johnson. All right, that's a good thing. I don't know. Newcastle hasn't won any of their games ever since they've done their friendlies. At the moment, they don't look to be there either. I'm not sure whether this Isak thing has giving a lot of problems for Eddie Howe. All right, let's see what Kinski does with this now. Kinski lobbed it over the top. Score, I think, in the 4th minute or so. Yeah, let's see whether we get the ball back. Sonny gets the ball. The ball goes to Johnson. Sa is Matistel. No. Yeah. Spurs are pressing again. Yeah. And we were talking about Johnson, right? Johnson has scored money.
Was it another tap-in?
Oh, no, it's quite good. We press high, stole the ball, right? He runs into the edge of the penalty area and shoots. And I think because he shot in front of a defender, Nick Pope was cut off. I think Pope should have done better for that. But, We seems to be pressing well, and we still start. All right, steal the ball again. Son gets the ball. Son tries to cross the ball in. Block. Yep, Son can't feed it through. Yeah. Are you watching the game?
I'm trying to find some stream, but the worst part is unless there's a specific channel called Fan Code, which has become popular here, I can't watch it. And it was the same problem with the Arsenal Spurs game, but I couldn't watch that game anyway because I was doing some other stuff. And besides, I have you on commentary, so I don't need anything else.
Yeah. Let me see whether you can get this. Whether this works or not. Yeah, I sent you something, Manny. Have a look.
Ooh.
All right. Let's see whether that works. I don't know. Somebody put it. All right. Now Newcastle's in attack. And somehow or another, it's a weird game, Manny. Both teams are wearing their away kit. And Spurs are in black. Right? And Newcastle is in green. And Newcastle looks like Ireland. The green jersey looks like the Ireland jersey. Oh, that's weird. All right. Okay. Now Newcastle's in attack. And we defend well. We get the ball out. Right. Hey, Simon. Big up.
I just joined the game, so I'm watching the game from the beginning, so I won't be live, yeah? I won't be watching live.
Yeah, we're up 1-0, Simon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have Eva Man says they have it on Hey TV. It's on Hoi TV. All right. Not sure about that. All right. But I did send Manny a link. But of course, we're in Malaysia. We're watching on Astro Super Sports 811. Right. Big up to Astro. And a lovely ball and offside. Sonny's offside. Sonny's offside. Right. But just to let you know,
I'll see you after halftime.
You catch up after halftime, yeah. And no, just to let you know, we're up 1-0.
Thank you for spoiling the game for me.
Yeah. Hey, you watch along, man. I'm giving commentary now, you see. So, yeah, say that.
Yeah, that was a beautiful pass there, but Sonny was just offside.
Yeah, okay.
I also wonder if there's a part of me that thinks that maybe, Son sort of got tired of all the machinations behind the scenes because, there's a wonderful story that you will know this, of course, Eugene, that he and Ange go a long way back. He, of course, was the South Korean captain that lost the Asian Cup final to Ange's Australia. And obviously, the big scene, of course, after the match was Ange consoling Heung Min and telling him, great game, mate. Don't worry about anything. You're still a fine player, and this doesn't take anything away. And when you take a look at the message that Son posted on Instagram in tribute to Ange, you could tell that he, like many of the other players, loved the big Aussie. So to see him sacked and see things not really going very well, maybe he came to the decision that he didn't want to be a part of the circus anymore with Levy as the ringleader.
Yeah, maybe. But to tell the truth, right, whatever choice that he's made, right, I think is a good choice because if he did stay on this season and things don't turn out well and he doesn't perform well enough, right, our Spurs fan base, how they go, right, they will flip straight away and turn on him. You get what I'm saying? So all I can say is that whatever decision is made, I accept it, right? No matter how, he'll still be a legend in the club, and the loyalty that he showed. And Johnson's got the ball. Can he get to it? Nah, Johnson can't get to it. Yeah, couldn't get free from Bird. All right. So
I'm just watching it right now. That is Johnson. So I think I'm a couple of seconds behind you, but some good defending there. Some good defending, but I think it's Matt Target, the former.
Target.
No, it's not. It's Dan Burn.
Dan Burn. Yeah. Right. No, but I think it's about Sonny is that as I see it, he will hopefully move to LAFC and get something. I was saying, right, moving to America, the standards will be about 2 or 3 levels lower. It might fit into his style of play, right? And if I'm not mistaken, Hugo Lloris is at LAFC, and if he's in LA, right, there's a huge South Korean community there, right? And most probably the amount of money that LAFC is offside against Son. Son is offside again, and Spurs are looking a bit more attacking, right? So, and with Sony being there, right, I think the amount of money they're offering now is about 20 million USD. That's about 15 million pounds, and I think they will recruit that very, very quickly from the sales of things that the sales of the jerseys and all that, right? That Son Heung-min comes along with, right? So basically, it's just like moving one market, a marketable product to another club. So let's see what happens with the Spurs fans and the South Korean Spurs fans and the Suns fans, right? How it goes, right? But at the moment now, Newcastle's got control of the ball, right? Let's see what they can do.
It's interesting, really, because there was some news about Lloris leaving. No, that might have been Olivier Giroud who ended up leaving, and I think he went back to play in France. But Lloris is still at LAFC. You're right. And there's, of course, a big story here that when Heung-min joined Spurs, he actually came to blows with Lloris, who, if memory serves me right, was club captain at the time. Maybe you know a lot about that than I do.
Yeah. There was one game where I think Lloris wasn't happy with Son, so they had a fallout, right? But if footballers when they're in the game, right? To tell the truth, right? A lot of people talking about Son, the only thing is that he was the captain, right, for the 2 years, right, and he's won a trophy. We can't say anything less or more than that, right? The only thing is that all I can say is that a lot of players who were there earlier and have not won anything. You get what I'm saying? So for Sonny, is that I wish him the best of luck, right? How things turn out in LA for him. I guess the weather will be nicer, right? You want to go through the cold winters of UK cold winters and all that, right? It'll be more of a temperate weather for him. Right? And at the moment now, Newcastle is attacking and we're defending. And the thing is that, have you noticed, right? Our defense at the moment, right, looks more composed and organized.
It does, and I'll give Frank some credit for that. And I was chatting obviously with my friend Steve Jenkins. You'll know, of course, Mr. B, and he also loved the stream that you did with him for his channel. The thing about Thomas Frank, and Steve can back me up on this, that he does have the sense to know that it is important to have a more organized defense in that particular regard. And
sorry, I haven't seen Steve in such a long time. How does he feel that we've taken Frank from him?
I'll be honest with you. He's not so much angry about Thomas the Frank engine leaving the station and going across with West London to North London, as he is about the likes of Bomo leaving, Norgard leaving, and now there's talk about Visser probably trying to force his way out of the club. Brentford have made some good signings, and I think they will make a few more before the window gets shut. So he's become a little bit, I would say, indifferent about Thomas Frank leaving.
I
think there was some talk. Ironically, there was some talk about there being a potential manager swap by which, while Frank came over to your neck of the woods, Ange went over to the G-Tech. But, I just saw that chance now. Remember, I'm a few seconds behind you. And thanks for sending me that thing on WhatsApp, by the way. So, listen, I think Steve has sort of, accepted it. He's looking forward to the new season with Keith Andrews, the former Republic Island international, in charge. With Norgard gone, the Irishman Nathan Collins is now the new captain. They've got the Irish Liverpool goalkeeper Kelleher in. They've got Jordan Henderson.
Kelleher is a good buy, to tell the truth. Right, yep. I rate Kelleher highly. I've been thinking, why didn't we get him, right, 2 seasons ago? But maybe the time he was still trying to fight his spot with Alisson, right? But the thing is that, I understand. But to tell the truth, right, after we got Frank and Brentford losing and Mbeumo, and then you getting Norgard, right? So I guess now is the thing is that whether Andrews can actually prove himself in the Premier League, because I can tell you, if in the next 10 games or so that things don't turn out well, oh, come on, give the ball away again. Why we give the ball away again? Come on, we're going to stop giving the ball away again. And the thing is that it's going to be a stern test for him, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because you're not mistaken, when Frank left, right, he did take a couple of the coaches away from the Brentford squad coaching team too, right?
Yes, that's right. And I think he was also in the market for Mbomo before United somehow found their way to muster a better offer. Of course, if I were,
Anthony Gordon in his scores, right?
If I were an ambitious player, there's no way I'd want to go to a club that doesn't even have European football and is so skint they're sacking more and more employees just to fund their signings, which is why I'm also really glad that Emi Martinez is not going to Manchester United. They've got their sights set on someone like Nick Pope or Donnarumma. They're not going to get the Italian. And as you mentioned, I think it is going to be a bit of a loss with Frank having taken some of his coaches with him. But, Andrews is still a remnant of that previous stint. I think if memory serves me right, he was a set-piece coach. So there will be a little bit of formality, and obviously there will be some more people being brought in to try and help out a little bit. But, look, I just hope for Steve's sake that things do go okay and that they find a level of togetherness, because there are some people who...
Okay, we start the one-on-one. Come on. Tell Kai, you can't even score 1-1. What the... That is why I say Matthias Tell is not up to that level.
Oh, yeah, I see that right now. And that's no foul. Yep.
How can that be offside? He doesn't know what to do. That is not the quality we need.
To be fair, it kind of reminds me of...
Money. Imagine, right, if Gyökeres did that, one-on-one and you miss.
If Gyökeres did that, I would say he has an excuse. He's trying to find his way into the team. He's trying to sort of get himself established. There will be, a small teething period. With Tell, I agree that maybe he shouldn't be given quite that much leeway. But look, pre-season, Eugene, is really all about, finding your feet, keeping yourself fit. It's sort of like,
but Money, we've seen this last season too. You get what I'm saying? The problem is that we've seen this last season too. Remember when I told you about Timo Werner? When we saw him, he was that bad, and we brought him back. Yeah. But because of his age, right, we really couldn't give him any leeway. Yeah, but the thing is that maybe that could be coached to make him, Frank and coach him to be better. That is a big maybe. You get what I'm saying? Right? But at this moment, if you see, right, even though it's preseason, it's a one-on-one, right? You run through, and in anything, I think the linesman saved his blushes because he lifted for offside. But if you go back on VAR, right, that ball, right, was actually won in our half of the field. And they don't even share they're not even showing the replay now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
But
I'm saying, it kind of reminds me, mind you, and I have to mention this, it reminds me a little bit of that famous or infamous Heung-min Son miss against Manchester City, which confirmed, that we wouldn't win the title. And you take a look on Twitter, the only, there's so many posts about how Heung-min Son will leave Spurs as arguably one of the most liked and likable players in the Premiership of all time. Possibly the only people who might hate him are Arsenal fans. And I'm very quick to put them in their place by saying, knock it off, you idiots. You don't speak for the entire fan base. We weren't good enough to win. Do not even think of trying to criticize Heung-min Son. And, you take a look at that miss, and maybe there was some extenuating circumstances. But listen, I wasn't going to blame Heung-min Son for that. And I think as far as Tell is concerned, he probably should have done a little bit better. Maybe he shouldn't have been so quick to shoot because there weren't any defenders on his tail. He had left them for dead. Yeah, but listen,
I know.
this is something that's going to have to be worked on definitely in training, and something that Frank's going to have to get right before the beginning of the season.
No, but Manny, what I'm saying is that, right, it's the confidence. If you're running onto the field against one-on-one on a goalkeeper, right, you must know what to do. When you reach there and you hesitate and you don't know what to do, right, that shows that, there's a lot of work to be done. And the problem is at this moment in time, right, we don't have an out-and-out striker. Unless you're going to say Lancashire, one of our youngsters, homegrown youngsters, as a striker, then it's one thing. But if we don't improve in that position, right, we'll be stuck with Solanke. And let's say Solanke gets injured, who else do we have? That's why I say we need to improve on that. But like for you guys, you were saying, like, I'm not sure you have any young up-and-coming strikers from your youth academy, right? You're using Kai Havertz as a number 9, right? And now you got Gyökeres, right? You're more or less strengthening your position. And you remember last season when Havertz was injured, you used Marino as a number 9, So there are some interchangeable scenarios that you can go there with. But for us, that if Solanke gets injured, right, we have to rely on Tel or Richarlison as our number 9. And Richarlison
is Solanke injured now, though? Because I don't see him in the squad.
Yeah, Solanke is still injured. Yeah, Solanke is injured again. He did travel, but he picked up a slight knock in training or something, right? And then Frank says that hopefully he'll be back for Bayern Munich. Yeah. Oh.
Bayern Munich. Matthijs Tel and Harry Kane crossing paths with their old and new clubs.
Yeah, and we're looking to sign Palhinha. Bruno Guimaraes. Do you see that?
Palhinha would be a very good signing, mind you. I mean, he proved his worth at. I think he was at Fulham. Then, of course, obviously, he went to Germany, and he would be someone who'd lend a lot of work rate to the team. I think one of the areas where you probably might struggle a little bit.
Tony. Yeah, I know Palhinha looks like a solid signing, right? Even though he hasn't had much games in Germany and all that, but at least he brings some experience into that midfield. You understand what I'm saying? And then most probably he'll be able to I call the other midfielders, because we've got a very young midfielder in Archie Gray and Pape Matessa. You get him, the guy who scored a goal against you guys, right? So let's see whether...
Yes, I don't need to be reminded of that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right. So that's how I see it, right? But the thing is that, me, right, being a Spurs fan for so long, I won't believe it until he's in the stadium holding up that shirt, right, and doing the intro video. You know what I'm saying? We're so prone to screwing things up. That's being Spurs, right? We at least you guys were linked to Gyökeres, ding-donging back and forth about the money, the amount, the blah blah blah. And then he still turns up to be a Arsenal player. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, right? But then we're now doing the same thing with Ebery Eze from Crystal Palace, and I think, this is the thing which I don't like about Arsenal. We sometimes have this sort of mentality that a penny saved is a penny earned, and maybe, Levy's of the same ilk. But when it comes to something as simple as a release clause, if you are literally willing to drop the money on the table to get Noni Madueke in, why don't you just bite the bullet and say cough up a little bit more for, some players who are of better caliber? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe Arteta sees something in Madueke that we don't, but I'm not too convinced, quite frankly.
Yeah, I know. Come on, sir. Eva will tell us whether he scored the second goal, but still can't get it. We are still looking a bit dangerous in attack, right? We were able to cross the ball in, Sonny. Sa couldn't get it out of his feet to score, right? No, but how can you say, right, Manny? The Eze problem, right? I don't think it's a lot to do with Eze himself and Arsenal, because we were looking into Eze for the past 2 transfer windows. You understand what I'm saying? And we always hit the stumbling block because Parrish wanted the upfront payment at a too high level, and Levy didn't want to pay that. You know what I'm saying? Because at this moment in time, right, let's say the deal, okay, the ball is hit, okay, head injury, right? Let's say his release clause is at £68 million, correct? But it doesn't say how much you have to pay up front, because Nobody actually pays up the 60 million, 68 million upfront nowadays, because everything is paid in installments throughout the years, unless, like Liverpool paid 100 million upfront for Wirtz, right? But Liverpool hasn't been signing big name players for a long time, right? So I think they've accumulated a lot of funds, number one. And last season, right, when Slot came in and won them the Premier League, right, it was more or less of a surprise. You guys, we never expected Slot to do so well. And I tell you this now, right? Don't be surprised, right? With all these new players coming in, right? Slot might not do too well in this coming season. You understand what I'm saying? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when he took over from Klopp, right, he more or less had a nucleus of a team that understands each other, right? And he just tweaked a bit the system and all that. And of course, the drop off of Manchester City, and you guys didn't do too well too, right? Because once Manchester City dropped off, right, you guys were the ones supposed to take over, but you guys didn't show up. You get what I'm saying? You drew too many games. That's the weird part, right?
Yep.
So the thing is that I got a funny feeling this season, right? Don't be surprised, right? There will be a drop-off for Liverpool, right? And don't be surprised if Manchester United do their business well enough, they could be the team that come back up, right? But unless, Emery screws it up, I'm not sure about that. Right? That's another thing we can't say. But for me being a Spurs fan, after seeing what we did against you guys in Hong Kong, I'm looking at this like we are like 3 or 4 players, right, off from actually challenging for top 4, top 5. At the moment in time, with what the squad I have, right, I see we are about a top 10 kind of team, right, in that bracket, right, with the addition of Kudus, and because Thomas Frank is coming in and he'll be able to coach the players and blah blah blah, improve them. That's how I see it. You see, but I don't know. Let's see what happens. The window hasn't closed yet, and for the Eze scenario I think the problem is Parrish. He wants the upfront payment, which is too high, and we steal the ball back again. Come on, Sonny. The ball. Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson, that's the problem with Johnson. He can score goals, but he can't pass the ball properly. That's my problem with Johnson, right? So the problem with Eze is that's the problem. And do you know we had this Morgan Gibbs White drama, right?
Oh yeah.
Which I was saying after the Kudus deal, there was a here we go 60 million release clause triggered, and then the whole Spurs fan base thinks that Daniel Levy is going to pay 60 million upfront for a player. Bro, it doesn't happen that way for Spurs. We don't pay the full amount. We've never paid the full amount for a player, which is more than 30 million pounds, right? And all of us are also deluded and believing that now we got 60 million in escrow waiting to be spent. I'm like, guys, wake up. We don't, right? Show me the money that we actually have that 60 million waiting to be spent. The ball comes in. Archie Gray's doing well. Pass it out to Tell. Back to Davis. Son has got the ball. Son is coming in. Son him in, and we get a corner. All right. Saar tries to cut the ball back and we get a corner. All right. So that's how I see it. You guys, why are we feeling that we have? And then if we have 60 million pounds in the bank now, right? Why are we going up to try and get a Sesko? How much does Sesko cost, right? How much does Rafael Leon cost? How much does Mikitazzi cost, right? Why do we do that? Because if we go and nowadays football deals, right, aren't paid in full. Everything is installments. It's just depending how much is that upfront money do you want. You get what I'm saying? That's why I think that's the stumbling block. And the thing is that a lot of Spurs fans still think that we still can get Eze. That's the weird part. Anyone says that we put up the money, you will get Eze. And the weird part is now, right? His release clause has expired, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, one thing which I can tell you right now, listening to all of this is that, there's always going to be many a slip between the cup and the lip, and you just know what won't come and throw a spanner in your works at the moment. I would also perhaps go so far to say that, I do get what you're saying about, you talk about the release clause, but, this is another reason why it is exceptionally important for a club like Arsenal to sort of get our, priorities in terms of players spot on, and then make sure that we have the money to satisfy that in the first place. Maybe at least if we hadn't have been so quick to try and get in some glorified support players like Madueke or Kepa or, Norgard or one or two others. And now we also got this chap named Mosquera who will probably be a backup for both Saliba and Gabriel. And we've given him the number 3 jersey. I fear an Igor Stepanov's fiasco once again. If we had prioritized trying to get the likes of, Gyökeres and Eze and make sure that we met those conditions, we wouldn't really have that much of a problem. And then you can focus on trying to get the support staff. You don't try and get the support staff players you want first and then end up facing problems getting the players you truly want. Where there is a will, there is a way, but you've also got to keep your eyes perfectly on the prize, not just when it comes to playing football, but getting the players you want. And that's exactly what the big clubs have done. Not just Liverpool. I think City have also recognized that there's going to be a cull of players given the drop-off they had last season. They've already lost Kevin De Bruyne, and they've brought in this Dutchman named Reinders, who I rate quite highly. They've brought in, which says to me that Guardiola is thinking of ditching that ridiculous inverted fullback strategy and going with a more solid, natural left back, I would say. And that is really the way, things should be. You've got to be straight with what you want. With Arteta, we're just seeing a bunch of, double speak again, and it's all the more ridiculous. And I would probably say when it comes to our dealings in the transfer market, we do have more room for optimism than you do. And if we do get Eze over the line, then, that'll just underline it. But I've learned over the 5 years, Eugene, optimism doesn't get you anywhere. You've just got to roll with the punches, as I've told you, and we'll see how everything pans out. And if things don't go as well as you would like, well, I think that just sums up Levy to a T. And, how things are going to progress in the upcoming 2 seasons will determine whether or not he deserves any more credibility than the very little he already has.
That's true. But the thing is that how I'm saying this, right? For you guys at the moment, you look more ahead in your transfer windows, this summer transfer window, right? The only other part is that how far are we going to go for, right? And the thing is that are we going to improve to challenge in certain things? You can say not along the way. And big up to Chris, big up, yeah. Double watch along, yeah. Optimism, yeah. You're a Spurs fan, yeah. That's the thing. Optimism being a Spurs fan, yeah. That's not in the Spurs fan vocabulary, right? But how I see now is that for you guys, I know maybe Gyökeres will come good, right? We'll never know. Because the last time he played in England was with Coventry, if I'm not mistaken, in the championship, right? Which I found it weird, right? He was very good in the championship. He was able to get about 20 goals or 30 goals in the championship in one season or something like that. But instead of going up to the Premier League, right, he went over to the Portuguese league, right? So it is what it is, right? So, and then he's jumped back now into the Premier League. Whether he'll be able to reach that level that he needs to be, that time will tell, right? We'll find out when time comes. That's how I see it. But for us at this moment, I see us like in all these preseason games, right? Looking solid in defense. It's one positive, right? But midfield at the moment, we still need that extra strength. And of course, in the attack, we really do look weak, right? And somehow or another, I've lost connection and I need to get back into the stream. Hold on, guys. Yeah. Internet connection nowadays. Too many users, I guess. Yeah. Let me get back into the stream.
Is it just me, or do Newcastle seem to be playing a little bit of a high line right now? Because you made very good runs into Newcastle half whenever you've got the ball, and many of their defenders have literally been camped in your half. I mean,
Yeah.
It's funny how the tide has just turned a little bit.
Yeah. No, but at least this game seems to be a bit more exciting. It's back and forth. Yes or not? There's a run back and forth. Newcastle's slightly high line. We are slightly high line too, because I was doing the watch along for the Arsenal game, right? I was saying this, and we get in a corner. Archie gets in a corner. I was saying this, right? When we were attacking, right, all 11 of our all 10 of our outfield players, right, were actually sitting in your half of the field. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
let's see how it goes, right? Yeah. So, but let's see how that goes, right? And we get a corner from here, right? And I've seen that we've improved in our set play, you know, even in our attacking set play, our defense in set play and all that, right? Kudos puts in a good corner. Okay. No, the flick he didn't get, right? So the thing is that Poro puts in a good corner too. So we look a bit, you know, a bit more dangerous in set plays nowadays. That's what I hope. And Eva says it's okay. Let's wait. Let's see what Newcastle does now. Eva is about 30 seconds ahead of us.
I will say, and I hope you. I hope. Oh, sorry,
yeah. One ball. I know the ball is coming through. Yeah. Eva already said it's 1-1. Harvey Barnes, you see, that is a good shot. You know what I'm saying? Brilliant hit by Harvey Barnes. Just as we were saying, right, our defense looks a bit more solid, and this happens.
The commentators curse. We know it too well.
Yeah. But no, the thing is that it's an open sign of scenario, right? So if we play an open game, we are susceptible to, you know,
exactly.
Barnes was against Poro. Poro can't do much of anything. Yeah.
And that sort of reminds me, of course, you know, when Ange first came in, you had that brilliant start. You were playing openly, but then that home reverse to Pochettino's Chelsea kind of sent you on a bit of a downward spiral since then. I thought you still did well to recover from that to finish, you know, fifth. You could have had fourth, as we all know. And I have to say, and I'm sorry for, you know, beating this dead horse, but I'm still of the opinion that the manager didn't really need to be changed, because, I mean, forget about the fact that you win a trophy, your momentum is high, everyone's, you know, exceptionally happy. But the most important thing, as the famed basketball coach Phil Jackson brilliantly said, is at the end of the season, you wipe the slate clean, you start from scratch. And that also would be a moment of, you know, reflection, because obviously you saw a change in a tactical approach from Ange, which was brought about by the fact that many of your creative players, you know, Kulusevski, Deki as you call him, Madders and a few others were unavailable. So you had to play a little bit more defensively. And I think he has also shown that when it comes to playing against very attacking teams, he can play a bit defensively. The injuries didn't help. I'm of the opinion that Ange didn't really need to go, but, you know, what's done is done, and maybe you could have signed a better manager like, you know, Glasner from Crystal Palace or someone else. But people are going to take a look at this win over Arsenal, and you see the twits on Twitter saying, pretty much going, you know, we've got our Tottenham back, and you know, Frank's going to
go there. I mean, we've got our Tottenham back.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I never want this Tottenham back, right? I want a Tottenham that can win league titles and all that. So I've already had my rant with we about Tottenham back and all that BS, right? But I'm in the camp of, right, if Ange won us the Europa League, he deserved to have his chance. You get what I'm saying, right? But the problem is that what's done is done. And okay, now we have to start learning to defend again. Now Newcastle's, okay, there's a fight. Okay. Come on, guys. It's a friendly.
Friendly, my foot.
Look at that.
And let's not forget that there's a certain Spurs defender named Kieran Trippier playing for the Geordies. It's anything but friendly.
Yeah. Then it's, I know.
Yeah. But many have been the Spurs and channels I've seen on YouTube. A lot of other people who have said, we're glad that Ange is gone and Frank will make us a better team. To that I say, wait until the season starts. Let's see how he does. And if you do not finish in the European places and fail to win a trophy, you're going to be made to eat some very disgusting humble pie, believe you me. And you have to ask yourselves, would you want to put up with this season after season, after the euphoria that you experienced in Bilbao? I know you would.
No, but you see, a lot of the Spurs fans, right, were how would you say? Come on, Guimaraes is grabbing who on the neck, but there was a bump. No, but you see, that's the problem with the Spurs fan base, right? We want attacking style football, right? And when Ange gave us the attacking style football, we didn't know how to defend. Then they want balance, right? Because as you know, right, I've never been Ange in or Ange out. After the first 10 games, when Levy said we got a Tottenham back, I became Ange don't care because I remember that. Yeah, the bullshit starts all over again, right? And when we were losing in the league, right, there were a lot of, of course, the injuries have to be taken into account of what happened, right? And we were struggling. And of course, we lost 22 league games, right? There's never in the first time in our history. And of course, we won our only trophy in 17 years and our only European trophy in 41 years, right? That all has to be taken into account. But a lot of Spurs fans can't see that. So it is what it is. You get what I'm saying? The pressure puts on, right? And our chairman, don't forget, right? A lot of the Spurs fan base were asking him to be sacked by January. Not only end of the season, but the problem is that a lot of Spurs fans changed their mind, right, when he won us the cup. Because we understand one thing is that, right, no manager, right, since 2008, whether it's Mourinho, Conte, right, or the elite top managers, right, couldn't maneuver around that Levy puzzle, apart from Ange, to win us a trophy. It is what it is. And I don't blame Mourinho because he did bring us to a Carabao Cup final and got sacked 6 days before it, right? So who else is there to blame? So for me now, for Ange, right, I'm just going to sit back, observe. I'm not going to pass judgment yet. But the only thing is that whilst this transfer window is happening, we see the same shit is happening again. We're still being Spursy again. We're being Spurs again. Absolutely. Right? So what else can I say? Right? All I just say is that, yeah, watch and see. We just have to watch and see at the moment. Right? Yeah. But if Ange does turn up and he does produce and he does get the results and he does give us something to hope for, right? Because we as Spurs fans, we have to get out the mindset, right? The most important thing is, this, right? Look at that. Even Mani doesn't have one of these, right? Look at this, right? Right? Trophies, right? Getting fourth is not a trophy. Now the best part is, right, you don't even have to get fourth, you have to get fifth.
Exactly. And Ange said it brilliantly in his interview for TNT Sports. Finishing in the top four wouldn't change the club very much, but winning a trophy would. And not just any of these happily domestic cups. Because, when you say you want to sacrifice a league campaign to win a cup, it shouldn't be a domestic cup, which, doesn't get you that much money. People might just look at you and say, you're taking the mickey. But you win a European trophy, you get into the Champions League, and you do that. You're able to sort of let the fans start dreaming of bigger and better things, and then you can start to look at next season and build momentum. And unlike Ten Hag, who was mentally sort of wanting to leave Manchester United and had lost, the backing of some of the players clearly did love Big Ange, but I think Ben Davies said it best that when he said, we've got to try and move on and get behind Thomas Frank. I think the sensible Spurs fans, many of them who wanted Ange to stay, have now made their peace with the fact that he's gone and Frank is in. And Frank has also paid tribute to Ange and has promised to try to build on, what's been on the platform that Ange has left. And so, hopefully things can turn out well. But I just don't know if Frank would necessarily be that manager who would, build on that platform the way you'd want. And you would have been better off getting someone like Glasner. I'm surprised you didn't go for him. Europa League winner with Eintracht Frankfurt, led Crystal Palace to their first ever trophy. I rate the German. I think he's outstanding. And
we all wanted Glasner, and Glasner's Austrian, I think, not German, Austrian. I think. No, the thing is that we all want. I would have preferred Glasner over Frank, but the problem is
yes,
that
he is Austrian. You're right.
Yeah, I have to come to this conclusion, right? Because you see, when Daniel Levy first brought Ange in, right, he said this one thing: "I'm done with employing elite managers, top managers." You get what I'm saying? So Ange at that time wasn't an elite manager, a top manager, you know, because it's not won anything major apart in the Scottish League, right? So once
Asian Cup, don't forget.
Asian Cup, yes, that's Asian Cup. But once Ange won the Premier League, right, the Europa League Cup, right, that brought Ange to a different level, and Ange demands will be different. You get what I'm saying? Ange was most probably had a meeting with Levy and said that since now I've won this, right, now I need this, a different style, a different group of players, right, to actually challenge for higher things. So when you go against Daniel Levy and when you want to challenge him, you're out. Jose, Conte, look at them, they were out. So that's my conspiracy theory. That's why a lot of Spurs fans are being blinded again. Yes, Frank is a good coach. He's a good manager, right? Frank is in the mold of Pochettino again. I see Frank as a Pochettino, right? There's a possibility for him to fail, but there's a possibility of him succeeding too. You get what I'm saying? Because when we brought Pochettino in from Southampton, he was a nobody, right? But he did good things for Southampton. You get what I'm saying? But like you can say, to the end of the day, right? What has Pochettino won in a major sense? To me, it's still nothing because he went over to PSG and won Ligue 1. And shit, if you went over to PSG and you were in charge of Reims or Lyon or Marseille and if you won Ligue 1, then it would be something different. Come on. Right? PSG, Ligue 1, if you don't win it, you're a joke. And don't forget, right? When he was the first season was there, he didn't win it. He only won it when he was in the second season. Right? At least Pochettino went there and won the Champions League, like what Enrique has done now. Now, that is a quality manager. To me, that's why I said Pochettino is still not at that level because he didn't win us anything too. Getting to a final is good, right? Come on. The year that Leicester won the Premier League, right? We should have won it, not Leicester, right? Why? Because our owners didn't back the manager. All right, guys, it's halftime, right? We didn't back the manager to win the Premier League. In January, we didn't buy the players to catch up to Leicester. But at the time, we were playing in the Champions League, the domestic cups and all that, right? Leicester was just playing for the league, right? So that was our greatest chance to win the Premier League. And partly, it was Poch's famous chance. Secondly, Levy screwed him in the back. That's why before he left, what did he say? You've got this magnificent mansion, but if you don't have the proper furniture to fit it, it's useless. So that's when Ange came in. Ange was able to maneuver all this BS by the owners and the club and get us a trophy. That should be respected. That should be honored. But instead, our fan base go back and look at the league and say that he did shit in the league. Yeah, but without taking in consideration that the injuries were there and all that. But the problem is that, yeah, because Ange doesn't play for a draw. Yes or no? He wants to win. That's what's the problem. But for me, is that I had a lot of gripe with Ange too, because apart from him giving us the trophy, right, it caused a lot of divide in the fan base. You know, it started with the Arsenal, Manchester City. We had to play Man City, and if we beat Man City, right, Arsenal will most probably win the league. And
I remember that mess from Son.
There was a big conundrum then. You see, it caused such a big stir up in the fan base, right? And a lot of times he contradicts himself. You get what I'm saying? We were up 2-0 against Brighton. And then
yes, I remember that.
We lose 3-2. And then he comes out and tells us we didn't deserve anything. Then why do you tell us that you must have the winning mentality no matter what? Right? So he contradicted himself a lot along the way. But the thing is that along the way, I saw Ange, you know, as a deflection and distraction for Daniel Levy. You get what I'm saying? I saw him as that.
I get that completely.
Yeah.
And
so when
listen,
the time
go ahead.
Hey,
Go ahead, Heung.
hold on. Mr. B, Steve, hope you're doing well, right? If you're free, right, I'll get Manny to send you the link. You can join me too, right? Because this stream is after the Newcastle game. I'm going straight into Formula One, the Hungaroring in Hungary, right? This is going to be a long stream. You want to join us and talk about, what happened in Brentford, Mr. Steve? I'll get Manny to send you the link. You can join us if you're free, right? Hope you're doing well. Big up, lads. Been a while. Yep. Hope you're well. Yep. I'm well too. Manny's well too. Yep. Not just the voice in YouTube. Yep. But nicking. Throws out off you. Yeah. Too. Oh, really?
Yeah, there has been some talk about possibly, Brentford getting Trossard off our books, and with some new signings coming in, it might be difficult to see where Trossard fits into the picture. He's been one of those players who's technically done really well, but he's struggled to sort of really establish himself as, a major figure. And maybe Brentford see him as someone who could play a much bigger role the way, a certain Christian Eriksen did when he joined Brentford. So it could be a good move for Trossard. He'll get regular first-team football. And obviously with Belgium, trying to qualify for the World Cup, he probably will benefit a great deal more from playing a lot more regularly and frequently. And I think, Andrews might find a role for him in the team, and certainly he'll get to play a lot more. And I will also say this, far be it from me to, offer any sympathies for an ex-Tottenham manager. Yes, you're right when you say that Ange contradicts himself a lot. And I remember that Brighton reverse at the Amex where you're up 2-0 and you ended up losing 3-2. You and everyone else on the panel were fit to be tied that day. And I think a lot of people were, incorrigibly Ange out that particular day. But this is a person who has also been quoted as saying that, winning the league, doing well in the league is really a good barometer of how well you are, how good you are as a team and how well you run as a club. But sometimes when facts change, you've got to change your outlook and change your mind. And, as human beings, we don't always stick to the same principles that have guided us, when we were much younger because of, differing circumstances or what have you. So I see him as someone who, far from being too contradictory, was a little bit more, I would say, flexible and agreeable in, considering circumstances. And it paid off quite handsomely. But obviously, in terms of a business decision, maybe the board also felt that it was a bit too much of a risk. But again, you start from scratch and you see where you go. But again, what is done is done. And I think Steve will also testify, if he does come on, that Frank was a great manager. Sadly, he can't come on though, so he's got relatives. I just hope he's not watching the cricket. I just hope he's not watching the cricket because England are in a bit of a spot of bother right now. And as a primarily an England fan, that doesn't make me too happy. I could be watching the cricket right now, but I'm here with you, so I hope you can appreciate that. My way of paying you back for not coming on the stream.
Are you an India fan first for cricket?
What did you say?
For cricket, right? Aren't you an India fan first?
Born and brought up in England, always England over India. India is just the land of my fathers. It's where I hang my hat, but I don't consider it home. Home is where my heart is.
Okay. But the truth, right? You're much better off in India now than in England. You're much better off here in India.
People say that, but listen, I'll tell you one thing, dear sir. There are some changes, going on in the country, the way things are going on over here. I wouldn't necessarily know that, and I still have a longing to, go back one day. But it is what it is, and I don't want to talk too much about that. But anyway, it's half time. It's half time.
Guys.
What are your reflections on the first half?
The first half, I guess we got off to a good start, but then after that, Newcastle has gotten a grip of the game, and I think the first 11 that we have out here now is not our actual strong first 11. Most probably, I hope that Frank will put in a few more better players. Kudos to come on to change the game a bit, right? Take off some of the attacking wingers and all that. Maybe bring on VDV and replace with Danso, right? And let's see how we go, right? And then bring on Spence, and take off Ben Davis. You get what I'm saying? Ben Davis is he shouldn't even be here at this moment in time in our squad, and he's still around. He doesn't even have to, do something like what Sonny did, right? have a gracious departure. You know, that's all I'm gonna say. But at this moment in time, right? It's a preseason game, so there will be, I think, wholesale changes, right? And I think most probably Sonny will come off somewhere, some in, I think, first 10-15 minutes in the second half, right? Because he ain't gonna take a chance of getting injured while his transfer is being processed. So that's how I see it. And most probably he will be given a standing ovation when he comes off. Hopefully that will be given by all the fans in the stadium, right? And there was another thing I want to talk about Thursday game, right? Most of the fans in the stadium were Arsenal fans, if I was not mistaken. Did you watch it?
I told you I couldn't because it's on a channel called Fan Code. I have to, subscribe to that, and also due to my own scheduling constraints and some other commitments, I couldn't really watch that. In fact, as soon as this the football ends, I'll probably have to, buzz off anyway because I've got to go to the gym. It'll come. Right. Just give myself an hour session, and I just love, I'm going over there. And Frankie got his second win over Arsenal. His first win, of course, was as Brentford manager when they got promoted. Yeah. That was, of course, back in the day. Right. Now, I want to ask you another question. We were talking about, obviously, the likes of Mourinho and so forth. News has, of course, come out that a certain Bamidele Jermaine Ali might consider retiring from the game at 29 years old. Now, one of the things which I also did like a great deal about Pochettino was that, he built something well, but something really good. But in addition, it seems to me, Eugene, that when the players were there playing at Spurs for him, they seemed to be, united under him. And I think everyone was, united. And he was able to get the best out of Ali and the likes of Danny Rose. But not too long after Mourinho came in. And, the thing, I despise Mourinho. I consider him to be nothing more than a glorified pot stirrer. And it was almost no coincidence that after Pochettino left, Ali and Rose just, withered, pun intended. Certainly in Rose's case. And, they never really were able to get back to anything like their best. And, we never heard of them again. Rose ended up retiring after an experiment with Watford, I think. And now Ali might end up falling by the wayside. And we all know about Ali's personal issues. I just wonder if, you can, obviously, players have to be responsible for their own, how they conduct themselves in their own careers. I just wonder if Mourinho, though, does have a part to play, because if you take a look at his history, he does have a very nasty habit of getting into feuds with certain players and really hurting them, psychologically.
Yeah, I guess Mourinho has his own style of management, right? Because the ego of being a big manager and winning big things and all that, he most probably thought he could bring it to Spurs, but of course, with Rose, there was a big drama behind it. To tell the truth, a lot of things were not done that well, and the owners didn't do that well for him, right? There were problems over there too, right? And to tell the truth, right, I've met Danny Rose personally. He did come to Malaysia once. If you go back to my old videos and all that, right? I've got his signature on one of my jerseys too, right? But the thing is that with Dele Alli is that I think he lost his way in football, right? And when he lost that edge of wanting to be a top player, right, the rest of the things all fell apart. You get what I'm saying? And I get that could be. I can't blame a manager, because, like you said, right, you as a player, you must have your own determination, you must have your own discipline, you must have your own demands, right, to be at what level you want to be. You get what I'm saying? He did go over to Everton, and the Everton deal was part of the Richarlison coming over. He went over, right, and we didn't even get a single cent for him because he didn't play enough, and then he withered further away from that. Apart from Rose, all I can say is that he didn't leave on a good note with Spurs, because he felt that he was held back, and how would you say, right? And even man says, yeah, I love Dele Alli, to see him say that retiring. Yeah, that is very sad, right? Somehow or another, I think after Poch, right, there wasn't the kind of manager that would, know how to make the best out of him mentally, how to use him properly. And after that, he just went off the rails, right? And of course, there was a lot of stories and history of his background and all that. In the end, that played a big part of it. So all I can say is, right, Dele Alli, if he wants to retire, he should, right? But the thing is that, Spurs has got a history of a lot of players like that, right? We got a player called Paul Gascoigne, look at the history of that. You understand? At that period of time, it was a totally different kind of football scenario. And now it's a totally different kind of football scenario because you talk about the 80s, 90s, right? Footballers were differently built. You get what I'm saying? They will still drink, they will still smoke, and they still play. You know what I'm saying? Right? And to tell the truth, when you come to nowadays being an athlete, right? You stop the drinking, you stop the smoking, you stop all these, right? Focus on your career because your career is not a long career, right? Maximum you can bring it through, right? You look at Ronaldo, he's still playing at the age of 40. You get me? So you have to look after your body to be a different level of player. But even he's not playing at the top level now, but he's still playing in the Saudi league, right? And he still plays for his country. You get what I'm saying? But all I can say, being a footballer, you have to prepare yourself for the future. Because if you don't play football anymore, what else are you going to do, right? And of course, Mr. B is saying, okay, Eugene, what do you make of the dealing falling through? To tell the truth, right, I already said, right, earlier with money, the Morgan Gibbs White deal, right, the 60 million and all that, we don't have the money up front. Maybe that's why the deal fell through. But even if the deal had to go through, right, Marinakis would have just said one thing to Morgan Gibbs White. If this goes to court, right, for the next 5 years, right, you won't be playing football. Would you want to take that risk, right? Wagwan, big up to Miss Donna Cullen, big up, hope you're doing well, Miss Donna Cullen, right? And I heard you were in Hong Kong, right? Yeah, we all heard you in Hong Kong. Are you in Korea now? I'm not sure about that, right? So when you come to scenarios of being a footballer, your career is short, so you have to make the best out of it, right? So the more intelligent footballers do that, right? And apart from that, you will go back. Either you end up back in football as a coach or ambassador for the club, or you go into punditry, for the punditry, right? Yeah, Mr. Ricky will be coming back next Sunday. Donna will be coming back next Sunday. Yes, you're in Korea too. That's good to hear. Right. So all I can say at the moment now, right, is how are we going to line up in the second half? That's what I'm looking at now. How are we going to line up in the second half, right? Yeah.
And what you said about players being intelligent, that really hits something. There's a wonderful proverb which says that if talent doesn't work hard work will always beat talent. And so you've got to have that talent of being able to somehow manage yourself. But at the same time, also, you've heard about the stories from his past, and people are going to just dismiss that and say, well, that didn't stop him from doing well earlier on. But then things have to fall into place for players to do well. You've got to have the right manager who will be willing to put an arm around your shoulder. And I think Pochettino, to his credit, was that guy. I see a lot of that in Ange, and I think Frank might also be of that similar mold. But if you employ a lot of these pot stirrers like Mourinho, I have to say right now that idiot has a lot to answer for when it comes to his dealings with certain players. What he did with Real Madrid, he never should ever be forgiven for that. And I think a lot of Real Madrid fans who might be friends of yours will definitely agree with me on that.
Yeah, the thing is, of course, whatever happens, right, all I can see at this moment in time, football has changed, along the way throughout the years. It's evolved into something different now. So a lot of focus is on the fitness, physical fitness, mental fitness, right? And don't forget, guys, they play a lot more games nowadays, you know what I'm saying? With just the league, and apart from the league, don't forget you got your international games, right? And next year is the World Cup year. So there are a lot of things coming up. So that's why the Morgan Gibbs White deal, right? As I see it, right? Morgan Gibbs White, well, he wants to leave, but more or less he's being held to hostage because Marinakis says that if you want to leave, right, I'll let you leave, but it won't be easy for you to leave. I'll make it difficult for you to leave. And then if you are tied down and you're not going to play football for the next 3 to 6 months, you won't be in potential for the World Cup selection. And it's ticked off. Yep, ticked off for Eva Man. Right, big up Eva. I see Bergwall coming on. I see Spence is coming on. Right, I see VDV is coming on. And the game is kicked off. All right, the game's kicked off for us too. Let's see what are changes have been made. What changes have Spurs made? What changes have Newcastle made? Yeah, that goes from Ben Johnson, Harvey Barnes, and the score is still 1-1. Bergwall steals the ball back, goes all the way back to Danso. Somehow or another, Ben Davies is still on the pitch. My gosh. So he's taken off Poro.
You know, of course, the interesting trivia is that Davies is actually now the only member of the 2019 Champions League final squad still at the club. But all the 11 starters will now be gone by the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that's true. They're all gone, apart from Ben Davies, because the last one was Son and Davies is still here. So let's see what happens there, right? And Newcastle looks more attacking at the moment. Let's see what Spurs does, right? If you take off VDV and Danso is on now. Romero's come off, right? Danso has gone to the right. Spence has gone to the right. Bergwall is chasing. Good challenge.
I think you can agree with me as well when I say that image of that clearance from, I think it was Luke Shaw's header, that should literally, be hung up in your club's museum or Hall of Fame. What a clearance that was. I think that was what really won you that game that day.
All right, Bergwall is coming for Benton Core. All right. What other changes do we have? Romero, Van der Ven is coming for Romero. These are Spurs changes. Right. Son is still playing. Son gets the ball.
Romero being an Argentinian can be a little bit of a hothead at times.
Can Son come in? Can Son get a cross in? No. Ball goes out to Saar. Sorry?
No, I was just saying that Romero being an Argentinian can also be a little bit of a hothead. And he certainly showed.
Oh, yeah, Romero's always had that. Yeah. Romero has always had a slight problem with that, right? When he first came to Spurs, right? I think he's got a few red cards, not even yellow. You're talking about red cards straight up, you know?
Yep.
But in after that, he's toned down. And he's done. Poro has come off. Spence has come on. Toned down. He's come on for. He's toned down a bit. But sometimes you take out the fire out of a defender like that, right? You lose his his total ability. So let's hope he doesn't lose that much of that aggression that he has in him, right?
Yeah, I get.
All right, that's the changes there, right?
Yeah,
no, it's like you're talking about Saliba and Gabriel, right? Imagine if they lose some of their aggression, they will be totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, Gabriel is probably more of the aggressor. You see him being the one who goes up for corners and rises and scores with his head. Saliba is probably more of the quiet one. And I like my centre-back pairing to, be a couple of contrasting players. You want someone who's good in the air, who can also be a little bit aggressive in some ways. And the other one should be good with the ball on the ground and sort of, be a bit of more of a calming influence. And sort of like the partnership between, Tony Adams and whoever would be with him. Although, Martin Keown was no shrinking violet. I think of someone like a David O'Leary who was, absolutely peerless back in the day. I wanted to ask you, did you start supporting Spurs when Osvaldo Ardiles and Ricardo Villa came to play?
Yeah. I've been supporting Spurs for about 40 years, Manny, since the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen them all, right? More or less seen them all, right? Of course, not until the 60s and 70s, early 70s, right? From the 80s onwards, Oh, ball comes through, but Gordon couldn't get it in the back of the net, right? No, that's why being a Spurs fan supporter, that's why I've seen it, right? I've seen the ENIC takeover. That's why I've seen the sugar times and all that, So as I see it, right, when Levy said we got our Tottenham back, I said I don't want this Tottenham, right? I want Tottenham to win league titles. I want Tottenham to win Champions League.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
So that's the thing is, right? Like we were saying, right? Like you were saying earlier, I would have preferred Glasner over Frank, but the problem is, it is what it is. We've got Frank now, so we just have to see what he can do with these players, right? But at least now I can see that the defense is a bit more solid, right?
Exactly, but then you will also therefore remember that team in the 80s when I think you were one of the teams who was setting the standard to some really exciting football, and under Birkinshaw, we were going places. Not just those two RGs. I think you had Perryman, Hoddle, Ray Clements, and Tony Parks in goal after Pat Jennings left. And, you know, there was so much to like about that Spurs team back then. And Garth Crooks also was involved. So that would have been a good time. I think you won the 81 FA Cup and then your second Europa League trophy, I think.
Yeah, 84. Yeah. Now, the thing is that I've seen it too. And I've seen it when Ozzy was our manager, bro.
I remember. That didn't go too well, I have to say.
That's why that was, you know, when you talk about Ange, right, playing that kind of football, you imagine when you watch Ozzy play football, Ozzy as the manager, we didn't know how to defend, right? We more or less put 11 players in the penalty box of the opposition. You get what I'm saying? Right? And that didn't last long too. The only problem with being a Spurs fan is that Spurs fans must learn to accept balance, you know, from attacking style to defending style. Everything needs a balance now. You can't be an all-out attacking, you know, a team, right? The only closest that we came through what called the beautiful kind of game football that we had was during Poch's era, right? And when he was with us 5 years, you know, and when he was with us 5 years, right, he had that balance, you know. At one period of time, right, we were the best defense in Europe. You know what I'm saying? So we have to build from the back. Yeah, let's see whether we can actually, with Frank now, have that chance of building up from the back again. And there's a Newcastle player down. He looks quite hurt.
Yeah. It's also going to be pertinent to note, though, that you know, the attacking players that he had at the G-Tech, you know, Mbomo, Bisa, Kevin Schade, and how he was able to make them work better in transition. I don't think he'll necessarily have those players at Tottenham. I know that, you know, Kulusevski and Maddison are quality, and they're just injured a lot too often for, you know, people's liking, and that's going to be, and more's going to be the pity.
Yeah, no, the thing I think the problem with Ange was his training methods, right? What he had is that they had them going out, being every training session has to be so intense. You get me? So I guess that wore down and tore down a lot of players even before the game. So maybe now with Frank coming in, you must learn how to temper your intensity in training sessions and all that. And when the game comes, right, the players must have that enough energy, right, to play at a high tempo for 90 over minutes. And don't forget, guys, nowadays, right, the Premier League games, right, are no more 90-minute games. You know what I'm saying? It can reach up to 100 minutes, you know, 115 minutes with all the injury times coming in and all that, because with the stupid VAR scenario, right, which I still don't understand, why haven't they actually started that semi-automated VAR system, you know, after so long? Newcastle scores. And he's offside. Is he offside?
So he's up a lifeline there, Eugene.
He's offside.
Yep, that's the lifeline.
Yeah.
I think if you want to make your training very intense, it has to be in short bursts. Don't wear out the players. I think you might agree with that.
Yeah. And also, then there was part, right? There was part of the training session that we saw, right? What's this guy? Ryan Mason. He was one of the coaches under Ange regime, right? He keeps shouting at the players, right? Cross the ball in. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Just cross the ball in. That's why whenever you see this one, big up Kazali. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. You're part of the KG team, right? You know, big up Team Reckless, right? From Manchester United, right? Part of the team. I'm part of Team Reckless too. So usually I will go on. I'm not sure whether you know KG from I think United View, and then he's got his own channel too. I met up with him from DR Sports when I used to do the call-in shows. So usually if I sometimes do hop onto his channel, talk about Spurs and all that, right? And banter Manchester United as much as I can.
Yeah.
Dear.
I think I've heard
That's
of him. I don't quite recollect being on a stream with him. Maybe I have. My memory. I should refresh my memory.
I don't think you'll be on stream with him because it's on a totally different what, you know. But let's see how that goes. Big up Chris Ali. Hope you're doing well. Don't forget to smash the like and I'm going to subscribe.
And you know, it's interesting. Sorry, go ahead, Eugene. This is yours.
No. Yeah, sorry. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just about to mention as well. It's interesting how you talk about the how you want to see that balance between attack and defense. You know that there was a 1987 season where David Pleat was manager. I think that was the first of his 2 stints at the club. You know, you also were playing some terrific football. You had the likes of Chris Waddle and several others in your team doing well. You had Gary Mabbott and Richard Goff.
Why is this so rough? Oh, Joe Linton. Oh my God, the elbows gray.
Oh no, that's you got to send him off for that. That's disgusting. Send him off for that. He knew what he was doing. And Guimaraes is no better.
I don't know.
I mean, full
come
credit
on.
to Archie for taking it like a man.
This is a preseason game, right?
Disgusting.
There's something wrong with Newcastle this season, I think ever since Isak went to leave.
That's what I've noticed about some of these Brazilian players. They're either exceptionally skillful, easy on the eye, or they can be some really dirty, rotten scoundrels. There's no in between when it comes to some of these Brazilian players. I've noticed that.
Come on. Van de Ven gets the ball out. Yeah, looks a bit clumsy at the moment. Now, what I'm saying is that, this is a preseason game, right? But somehow or another, the intensity is there. But it's a good thing, right? It shows that, the seriousness is there and all that. It doesn't look so friendly. But the thing is that, the elbows coming out and all that, right? Rash tackles and all that. There's certain things we don't want to see in preseason.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. It is about just, maintaining your fitness and your match sharpness. Yeah, I was also talking about that 87 season where you were playing some very good football and you had a really good team. But I think that season, if memory serves me right, you finished 3rd in the league. You lost the FA Cup to Coventry with a Gary Mabbott own goal deciding everything. And we beat you in the semi-finals of the League Cup en route to beating Liverpool in the final. So that would have been a disappointing season for you as well, I think, 1987.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But, the tackles are coming in hard and strong now. Who goes down? 11. No, Matistel goes down. Yeah, clips his foot. Nah, I understand. The thing is that, but seeing all this, right, being a Spurs fan, we've seen it, we've been there, we what? But of course, at that period of time, right, at least we're still going for the cups, domestic cups and all that, Ever since Phoenix took over, right, it's like we just given up on all the domestic cups because the money isn't there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we focus onto the league and try to get top 4, right? Because the money is higher when you get into Champions League. So that's one of the things that's happening. And Newcastle, I think, wants to win this more than we do because they look a bit more rough now, right? But of course,
there could be some problems though with Newcastle if if the standoff between Isak and the club continues, mind you, because obviously his head's been turned, and there have been some clubs that have been willing to pay big money to try and get him, and Newcastle have said no. I just wonder if things are going to be harmonious. They've already let Callum Wilson go to West Ham. Can they afford to, not keep Isak happy?
Yeah, the thing is that, of course, don't forget, right? They've bought Elanga, right? And then the other thing is that if Isak does go, right, will they put up the money for Sesko, right? And the thing is that they are challenging Manchester United for Sesko. And of course, Richarlison is coming on for us now. And somehow another Spurs can't get a grip of the game at the moment, Spurs. And Newcastle is having a free kick. Let's see how we defend from this. Our defense seems to be okay now. The ball comes in and it's headed out. And it's shot by Newcastle. Ball goes over the top again. And ball is won by offside. There's an offside call. First time or another, I can see that Newcastle seems to be more eager to win this game because I think they've lost too many games, right? They've not won any games, so I guess it'd be good for them to try to get a result here. Yeah. And the thing is that didn't Newcastle win a cup 2 seasons ago? They won the Carabao Cup, right?
That was last season, Eugene.
No,
they won it last season, and they were runners-up. They won the League Cup, beating Liverpool in the final. And I think 1 or 2 seasons prior, they were in the League Cup final, but lost it to Manchester United.
Lost to Manchester United. Yeah, okay. All right, Spurs gets the ball. Tel gets the ball and gets back to Son. Son. Can Son turn around? Son loses the ball and gets Newcastle gets a free kick. All right, Richarlison is coming on, but there'll be changes for Newcastle is doing some changes too. Anthony Gordon is being changed. Who is coming on for Newcastle? Anthony Gordon goes off. Anthony Gordon goes off. Wasn't Anthony Gordon even linked to Liverpool?
He might have been. I mean, obviously, Liverpool seem hell-bent on getting rid of Harvey Elliott. Don't ask me why. I think he's quality. But
William Masula comes to Gordon. Who else is coming off? Right. I haven't seen Elanga come on yet, right? Livramento is coming on for Target. And Spurs is bringing on Bissouma for Sarr. And Matisse Tel comes off for Richarlison. So I guess Richarlison is going to be our number 9 up front. Bissouma comes on. All right, this is going to be interesting. Ball goes over the top.
For Richarlison, it might be interesting. This could very well be a make or break season for him. I think when it comes to, out and out strikers, and you can agree with me, his goal output is not the best. So a lot more will be expected of him, especially if, we don't see Dominic Solanke back from his injury anytime soon.
No, the problem with Richarlison, right? He's been injured too long and too often. Yeah, I'm saying that. That's the problem with Richarlison. And then, of course, his goal contribution isn't high enough, right? Now, the thing is that, right, if you're a big 6 club that's in the Champions League, right, your strike force, right, between them, right, must at least score 30 goals, right, between them, 30 to 40 goals, right, in all competition. If you don't do that, right, you're just a limp kind of, scenario. You can't get far with it, And at the moment, right, if you look at our strike force from last season, right, Brennan Johnson and Solanke, right, Solanke doesn't even have double figures. Think about it,
Yeah.
So it's not. So we have to improve on that. And the thing is that we need goals in the Premier League, right? And if I'm not mistaken, Johnson has about 16 or 18 in the Premier League, right? So Guimaraes is bringing down players like Richarlison and Guimaraes is going to have a big fight. Both of them Brazilians, right? Okay, Son Heung-min is coming off. Right, Son is coming off, and Kudus is coming on, and then it's all claps and hugs. I predicted this, right? Son is supposed to get, so they're all giving Son a hug. Sonny's all getting a hug.
Yep.
Sonny's getting
I'd like to see the Newcastle players give him a guard of honor as he walks off. That would be nice.
And there's the camera pans onto Sonny's father. He doesn't smile, bro. Maybe that's why Son has to smile all the time. Right? And the claps are all around for Son. They're all giving Son a hug. Right? Kinski's giving him a hug. Right? Even the referees are giving him a hug.
I see.
And they're giving him a guard of honor. Yeah, they're all giving him a guard of honor as he walks off.
Yep.
And the captain armband goes to
I'm delighted.
Bro, who's getting the captain's armband? Ben Davis.
What can you do? He's the only one still on the pitch, the only one experienced enough.
Yeah. I know. Ben Davis getting the captain's armband. All right, Sonny. Hope you get a good career in America. Go over there and win a few more things, right? With LAFC. Not LA Galaxy, but LAFC. Right?
He'll get to play against Lionel Messi. That'll be wonderful.
Yeah. That'll be nice to see, right? Messi against Son. Yeah. And now Son is getting hugged with all the players. Yeah, all the sub-bench players, they all give him a hug. Right? All the subs are giving him a hug. And he's gonna cry soon. Yeah. Yeah. And they're panning the cameras around. Yeah. All the players are giving him a hug, right? From the sub, yeah. Solanke, Pedro Porro. Yeah. All right, guys. Son is getting his hugs. He's got right,
you can almost see
and Yang. He's hugging Yang. He's telling Yang. Lancashire, the youngsters, right? Odebear. Yep, Sonny, the Spurs legend. Yeah. All right, Sonny, take care. Yeah. All right. And here comes the rest of the players, managers, the coaching staff, all giving him a hug. And the referee has stopped all this just for him to get his hugs. Right? Even the tea lady is coming to give him a hug. Yeah. Where's Daniel Levy? Why isn't Daniel Levy giving him a hug?
What a snake.
Yeah.
What a killjoy. What a disgusting cretin he is.
Yeah.
And yes, Daniel, I'm talking to you, son. All those stands know better.
And then there's a player down for Newcastle again. Yeah, and Sonny's crying. Yeah. Yep, tears. Yep. Yes, Eva. Sad. Yep, it's sad. Yep. And yep. Tears are in the eyes. Yep. Tears are coming up to my eyes too soon. Yep. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. All I can say, yep. He's a legend. And I remember, right, in the beginning of the season, he did one interview, right? He was saying something, right? Unless I win a trophy with Spurs, I still don't consider myself a legend. And now he's won one, so he is a legend. So all I can say that, right?
He said it best. Let's say I'm a legend now. And obviously, if you watch that interview he did with TNT Sports alongside his ex-teammate Gareth Bale, you know, you could definitely see the emotion coming there from him.
Yeah.
There was, of course, a story I read on BBC Sport that when he first came to London, the boy couldn't speak English, but he did know some German. So it was a certain Kevin Wimmer, Austrian, who sort of took him in, as it were, and made him feel at home.
Wimmer and Kyle Walker are more or less his best friends now. After Walker left, right? So, 10 years after, he's a legend. And Bissouma gets the first yellow card after all those challenges. What the? All right, another free kick with Trippier's having it.
Yeah, you have to be honest and say that Bissouma deserved that, but the fact that there were no cards dished out for some of the other rubbish that went on, especially that ugly piece of play from Joe Linton, I think it's disgraceful.
Yeah, I know. And of course, Kinski gets the ball, right? Yeah, much better defending, right? Now we've been looking at Kinski, right? So the thing is that whether he's a good replacement or a second choice goalkeeper under Vicario, because Vicario's shot stopping is up there, right? But his the ball in his feet is a bit weak, right? So I think is that if Kinski can bring up his shot stopping skills, right, then it'll be a good thing for us. We'll have two good challenging goalkeepers. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Surprisingly, though, I do seem to remember when Ange named his squad for the knockout stages of the Europa League, there was no Kinski and there was no Forster. And so Vicario's backups were your two youngsters, Austin and Whiteman. So I'm not too sure.
We ain't going to that. You know why? Because at that time, we didn't have enough academy players, You know, the UEFA has got this rule, right? You need a certain amount of academy players in your squad. So we didn't have enough of them. So that's why we had Austin and Whiteman. We had 3 goalkeepers in the lineup, right? And Jet Spence couldn't come in because Jet Spence wasn't an academy player. So in the end, we had to get rid of Austin. We had to get rid of Whiteman and Forster, so Jet Spence could come in to take up the spot, right? And Jet Spence and Denzel could come in to take up the spots. You see, so that's how it had to happen in that way. You see.
So that's another contextual thing, but we're not going to go down that road again. I think Kinski is a decent goalkeeper. I do seem to remember when, but you lot played against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, he did concede a goal which he won't remember very fondly. I think that was a pretty poor mistake on his part. Whenever he's played, he's looked decent. And, I think he has to sort of be developed as someone who can compete with Vicario because, everyone I've spoken to who's a Spurs fan, and even I'm a keen observer of goalkeepers, as you might know. When it comes to shot stopping, the Italian is an absolute stallion. But as far as being able to, conduct himself well on high balls and crosses and set pieces, he's a shrinking violet. So
I know. Remember, there was one period of time 2 seasons ago, right? The game plan was when you have a corner, right? Just put a player on Vicario and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the problem. But at the moment, as I see it, why is the game going on while players? We're going to make more subs. Right, more subs are coming in. So at this moment, right, all I can tell, Son has gone off. Let's see how the game turns out to be. It's been quite a Jolinton drop a position in the shot. Bergwall shoots, but Nick Pope, keeps the scoreline and do this. All right. Now the thing is with Kinski, he needs to improve his shot stopping, right? Ball at his feet, he's good. His distribution is better than Vicario. But the problem is that, last season there were a couple of games where, like you were saying, right, in the FA Cup games and all that, he did concede a few, I call bozo kind of goalkeeping kind of, stuff. And when the Van wants the ball fairly, the ball goes back up to Bissouma. Bissouma has to go to Kudus now. Ball goes out to Spence. Spence back to Bissouma. Spence over the top to Kudus. Kudus, that's nice. Richarlison is a good position. There's a player. Ben Davies calling for the ball at the back. Kudus does his magic. Oh, that was nice. But no, couldn't get the ball across. But Newcastle can't clear the ball out. We still get the ball. Bissouma gets the ball and gives the ball away again. Come on, Bissouma. Don't be the Bissouma of couple of seasons. Now the counter attack is on, but there's 5 against 2, and the ball goes over the top, and the ball over into the box, and it goes out for a throw.
All that. I think that was Bissouma who was the guilty
party. Is coming on now. Madison is coming on for Archie Gray.
And of course, your Bete Noir.
Yeah.
Johnson's going off. Yeah.
Johnson is going off. I think Odeber is coming on. So we're going to revert to the we're going to revert to the front line that started against you guys on Thursday. Right. So let's see how that goes. I guess we should be a bit more attacking in this sense, right? Kudos try to bring the ball out, but the ball goes out of play again. All right, I guess it's going to be an exciting last 15 minutes or so, right? Don't forget there will be injury time, loads of injury time because of the Spawn substitution. I guess another 20 more minutes to go. Then I'll go straight into the F1 after this, right? The auto into the F1. Right. And Burtwell gets the ball. Newcastle couldn't get the ball. And the good ball through. Odeberg tried to put Richarlison through, but no. Odeberg has 3-on-1 now. Richarlison's got the ball. Come on, Richie, shoot! Oh, he tries to place the ball, but he's offside. But it's offside. Is it offside?
Yeah. Marginally offside from the looks of it. And
but the ball deflected off a Newcastle player. Does that rule still stand? If the ball is deflected off a player, you're not offside?
I think it might deflect off your teammate, then you'll be offside. But if it's off an opposition player, you may not be. But if you sort of take a look back, you can see that positionally, Richarlison just didn't, drop back in time. And when you don't have that positional awareness, that can be, that won't be good.
Newcastle's got a new signing, a Korean player. Park Song-ju. Let me see. Newcastle has signed a Korean player too,
Yeah, Song-soo Park, number 64.
Park Song-soo, yeah.
Meanwhile, the other Korean, Young Min-hyuk, hasn't even been called up.
Yeah, he's on the bench still. Nah, I can't, right? Because you remember they're doing this because of Son. Lewis Hall has come off for Trippier. Madison gets the ball. Lewis Hall recovers well, and it's a free kick to Newcastle. Free kick to Newcastle. And Ben Davis is still playing. Ojikami comes off. Park Seong-soo comes on. Okay.
Yep, that's the free kick. I'm just seeing that. Davies a little bit clumsy there.
Come on, son. Come on, Sonny. Get another one. Bergwall tries to put the ball in and we get a corner.
Yeah, I think you've started to look a lot more aggressive now in these last 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
There was a period, of course, in the second half where Newcastle were, riding roughshod, but maybe not necessarily riding roughshod, but they looked a lot more likely to score. But now you're punching back, and we'll see what happens here. It could be interesting. Maybe the subs might make an impact.
Well, it's a corner, but goes straight into Nick Pope.
I'm not too sure Pope will be happy about having an England teammate being his teammate at club level.
Richarlison gets a yellow card. Richarlison gets a yellow card for pulling Nick Pope.
Yeah, that's stupid. You don't need to. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't know. That's a stupid red card, a yellow card, right? Now, to tell you the truth, right? This game ends up in a draw. It doesn't matter because it's a preseason game, but it didn't feel much of a preseason game because the Newcastle players were giving it hard, right? So, yeah.
And one thing I will say right now is that Joe Linton will be a marked man when you two meet in the Premiership next time.
Yeah. I don't know. Will he still be there after the transfer window closed? That's another question, right? Find the ball goes out for throw. Goal kick. No, corner. Song Soo Park, right? Okay. Who's coming on now? Vuskovic is coming on for Ben Davis. And then who gets the armband? Madison. All right, Madison will get an armband. Vuskovic coming on. My God, I think we're going to get another extra 5 or 6 minutes of injury time. 5 or 6 minutes of injury time. All right, let's see how Vuskovic does. Have you heard of Vuskovic before? Vuskovic comes on for Ben Davis. So now it's Vuskovic and VDV at the back. And now the trumpeter has gone on. Have you seen Vuskovic play, Manny?
Can't say that I remember.
Yeah, he's another 18-year-old boy that we bought, but he looks like a beast in defense. Yeah, Jet Spence challenging against Park Seong-soo. And of course, the trumpeter is blowing his trumpet now. Numbers. When the Spurs go marching. And Newcastle changes their goalkeeper. Ilanga is coming on for Newcastle. Newcastle has taken off their goalkeeper. Ilanga is coming on for Barnes. All right. Ilanga comes on for Barnes.
Ilanga being signed from Forest is a very interesting signing indeed. And this is one of the reserve keepers, Gillespie.
Oh, Gillespie's coming on.
Newcastle have got 6 goalkeepers on their books. It's ridiculous.
Oh, we have quite a lot too, you know.
Yeah, but when you take a look at the international experience, Pope with England, Dubravka with, I think, Slovakia, Lakodimos with Greece, Ruddy's been capped by England too. And now you've got this chap named Gillespie, and I wouldn't be surprised if there'd be another one there. I think some of them, Eddie's going to have to really let a lot of these players go. And yeah, Ramsdale has also joined. So they're going to be a lot of outgoings in the next few weeks, believe you me.
And Madison goes down. Oh, this is bad. Madison goes down bad.
Oh, that is.
It means Heung has to come on. Come on.
That is horrible. He's just come on, the poor boy.
Is he going to have another knee injury? And look at Frank's face.
And, at least you would have been happy to have seen him take the captain's armband off Ben Davies, but I think he might have to give it back again.
No, Ben Davies is off.
Okay, so he won't give it back, but it's going to be passed around like a parcel. And Frank has reason to be worried. It's bad enough that he missed. It's bad enough that he missed the Europa League final, but to have him injured like this before the start of the season, that's going to be a sickener for him, the poor boy.
That means that we had to go out for a creative midfielder then. What the F? That's bad. That's bad. Madison is out, guys. Madison is out. Stretcher is coming off. He's twisted his knee. Yes, Eva. Madison is out. Right? Even before the start of the season. And Son has got he's twisted his knee. Yang has got to come on now. Seriously? Oh dear. This is gonna be a real test, bro. We lost our only creative midfielder. Kraft is come on for shot.
I wonder if you might consider making a move for Trossard.
Oh,
that would be a big risk.
We hardly ever sign Arsenal players, bro. You don't notice that?
Yeah, I remember. David Bentley, William Gallas.
Yeah.
You even had Emmanuel Adebayo coming and playing for you lot.
Yeah.
And of course, one of your League Cups was won under a certain George Graham.
Mm-hmm. Manager, right?
Yep.
Madison looks bad.
Oh, boy. That is horrible.
They'll put it up for another. I mean, I think it'll be a season ending, even before the season start, right? If it's a bad knee injury.
I hope it's not a knee injury and something like a hamstring or a calf, which can see him come back. We might find out the details later on.
Yeah. Yang comes on. And look at Vuskovic, man. He's such a big boy. Yang comes on, and the Korean fans are cheering him on. Joe Linton is coming off. That's good.
Yep, the Korean comes on.
And Yang Min-hyuk comes on. They're two Korean players.
Min-hyuk Yang.
Yep, Yang Min-hyuk. Oh. Yep.
Yeah. Of course, Yang is sort of like the family name, so in Western traditions, it would be the other way around.
Yeah.
But
that's why it's like Hyun Min Sung.
Exactly.
But in Asia, we still call it Son Hyun Min and Yang Hyun Min Hyuk.
Yep. The only problem is if the son and the father are in the same room and you say that that name, who would respond? That's always going to be a problem.
Yeah, usually the father. So if it's an elder person calling out, then it'll be the father. If it's a younger person calling out, then it'll be the son. But usually the
Don't
thing
get me
is that,
started.
right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that Asians, right? They got their titles, it's like Uncle Son. Okay, there's a big gap down the middle. Yang gets the ball. Shoot, Yang. Oh, no. Yang. He needs a bit more composure, the young boy. Needs a bit more composure.
No, there is some promise. There is some promise.
Yeah, there is some promise there.
But then again, that's a problem when you sort of have too many young players. And oh boy, that would have been a story for the ages.
Yeah.
I think he just overran himself, the poor chap.
Yeah. All right. I need to set up the other screen for the F1. It's coming up soon. Well, this game is going on.
I never really could get to grips with F1. And of course, when Stephen was still alive, Lord rest his soul, he was very big into F1. So I think it was through F1 that you got to know each other, right?
Yeah. And I used to do it with Stephen a lot, the F1. I don't have my other phone here. I'll let it be. Yeah,
but ironically, it was through watching that film with Brad Pitt, Kerry Condon, Javier Bardem, and a few others that I got to learn some of the tactics that are being used when you need to take a pit stop and when you shouldn't, and when you should overtake and when you shouldn't. I mean, that's a film I could watch again. I will. Yeah. I'm not going to spoil anything. I promise you, because I haven't seen it. I want you to see that film if you get time. It's quality.
Yeah, I'll try to catch over. I hardly ever go to movies nowadays, right? So, yeah. Song Soo Park looks good, A lot of energy, a lot of twists and turns.
Yep.
Yeah. Guimaraes gets off target. We're in the 89th minute now. Right? Are we going to get how many more minutes of the extra time we're going to get? That's the question. How many minutes of extra time we're going to get? Charleston won't reach that one. Bissouma's on a yellow card, right? Yeah, and then he elbows, I think. Bissouma elbows the... Oh, that would be a yellow card. Yeah. If it was a competitive game, it would be a yellow card. All right. But this is a preseason game, so he gets off it.
It's sort of
2 minutes of time.
Their heads.
All right. If it's 2 minutes, then it'll be good. I'll have enough time to switch over.
Ooh.
It's a weird thing, right? A short 2 minutes at a time.
And you know, Guimaraes just found out. You dish it out, you ought to take it back. Both he and Joe Linton were guilty of some horrible transgressions early on in this game.
Yeah. And Yang gets the ball, and the Orange fans go crazy. Bergval turns back for, and Bergval keep the ball. Yep. Bergval looks strong. Pass it to Kinski. Kinski hoofs it up over the top. And the ball goes back to, it's 2 minutes of at a time. I'm surprised 2 minutes so short, but and the ball goes over the top and it's defended well. Bergval hoofs it over, and Richarlison is chasing after the ball. Can Richarlison steal the ball? And he slips. That's the problem with Richarlison, right? The quality is not there. We can see all the quality is not there. All right, I guess the referee will be blowing the whistle soon. 30 more seconds to go. Ball over the top. Yep, and it goes to Kinski. Kinski gets the ball.
Who would you say, Eugene, has been the best striker you've seen play for Tottenham? I'm guessing Klinsmann or maybe one other one.
To me, right, for recollection-wise, I would say, Kane, right, because of the modern era. But if you look backwards, I like a striker. I like Sheringham, to be honest. All right, guys, the game's ended. Full time, even man, 1-1 score. All right. Now we're going to move over to Formula One, guys. But before we go over, Manny, any last thoughts before you?
Nothing much else. I mean, first of all, I want to say thank you for making it possible for me to watch that game. It was sort of a almost full-throated Premiership clash, which needed, a lot more action from the referee, it has to be said. You can't really gauge too much from these preseason encounters. They're really only meant for, just keeping the squad fit and just getting some minutes under your belt and trying to give the coaches something to work with before they make their decisions with the start of the season approaching. But there are some issues with your team, but there are some good things about it. I pray for Maddison. And it's sad, really, because I do like him as a personality. I think he's got that type of cheeky chappy thing about him, and he is a talented footballer. If this injury is a very long injury, it could have a lot of damaging ramifications for him personally. And you also need to make sure you get a good striker now. And your team's going to go through a big transition period in many ways with Heung-min Son now having left. But still, true. At least you beat us. You have some bragging rights there.
Yeah. For the time being, until we meet up again the next time. All right. Thanks for being on, Money. All right. I'll catch you later. Always. Take care. All right. Take care.
As
Bye-bye.
usual, terima kasih. Take care of yourself.
Yep. Sama-sama.
And big up to everyone in the chat too. Hope to see you all again very soon.
All right, guys. Formula One starting soon, right? The weather seems a bit gloomy, right? We're waiting for all the cars to move on. Of course, the game just was over. Yes, Everman starting to miss him too. Right, let me take off the banners here now. Yep, didn't have time to put up the top four. Poll is at the moment is Leclerc and Piastri is second. Norris is third, right? Fourth, if I'm not mistaken, is Russell. We're gonna wait for the formation lap coming up. All right, guys. The game against Newcastle ended up as 1-1. It wasn't a, I mean, it was a preseason game, but it wasn't much of a friendly. Tackles were flying in and all that. So let's see what happens there, right? Let's see what happens there, right? And of course, right, formation lap starts now. And Leclerc goes off. At least it's not raining. We're not starting under the safety car, but let's see whether there'll be any rain coming down. But the weather seems cooling, right? It's been hot and wet usually, but it's a bit cooling now. We are going in the formation lap now. Yeah, Verstappen has got his 200 Grand Prix under his belt, right? 200 Grand Prix under his belt. One stop is about 18 seconds slower. We're looking at the two-stop strategy here, right? So let's see how that goes. Right. It might rain. We know whether it's going to rain or not in this F1 race, right? There might be some light showers. All right, guys. Formation lap coming in. Tarmac seems to be cooling. Rain seems to be in the forecast, but let's see what will happen. All right. Leclerc is in pole position. So I guess that Ferrari, I mean, he's in pole position. I don't think he'll be able to. Why is Tsunoda going to the pits? Why is Tsunoda going to the pits? Right. The only thing will Piastri overtake Leclerc on the straights, right? All right, guys, it's gonna start soon. Yep, Scotty, Madison down. Yep, any chance of a decent season for Spurs? I don't know if we get a. And he goes and the race starts. And Leclerc gets a nice and then Norris and trying to get past Piastri. Piastri comes in. Leclerc comes in the turn one. George Russell is challenging too. And Russell loses the place. And Alonso is taken over Norris too. Russell is taken a position off Norris. And Alonso is taking a place off Norris too. On opening lap, that's a good race. Guys, bad start for Lando Norris. Norris made another mistake. Lost 2 places, so Norris, right, making mistakes again. Piastri. Leclerc is pulling away. And he's leading the Hungarian Grand Prix. George Russell's putting pressure on Piastri. Leclerc comfortably out front. But today's a cold day. We don't know whether the McLaren tires are building up enough heat. That's why Norris lost a couple of places. Right? Now DRS enabled. Let's see whether Piastri is able to do something on Leclerc. But Verstappen goes inside of Liam Lawson. Okay, Verstappen's got an 8th place back. Sonoda is last. Oh no wonder he started off from the pits. All right, Leclerc's pulled over a second lead over Piastri. That's a good thing. But Norris is all the way on 5th. Hamilton has dropped all the way back to 14 from 12. And Lando Norris overtakes. Yeah. Lando Norris overtakes Alonso, passes Alonso. He gets back 1 spot, goes in the 4th. Yeah, Norris had to take this back fast, right? But Leclerc's fast. Leclerc's keeping his pace. Oh, look. Yeah, Ferrari's pulling far away. But I think this is the tactic, right? Because you can't stay too long behind the car. You stay too long behind the car, right? The tires the air turbulence, hot air and all that won't be good for your tires, right? Max Verstappen overtakes another car. All right, Verstappen overtakes Stroll. Verstappen is charging up the track. All right, I think they're keeping their distance at the moment. Leclerc is the fastest. All right. Well, Leclerc's got good grip, guys. Leclerc's got good grip. Right, Leclerc's holding off. All right, so Leclerc, Piastri, Russell, Norris, Alonso, Bortoleto, Verstappen, Stroll, Lawson, Bierman, Hadjar, Sainz, Antonelli, Hamilton's 14, Ocon, Albon, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, Gasly, and Sonoda. Let's see how it goes now, right? A lot of tactics are going to come in now. If Leclerc's tires can hang on longer, and here comes Verstappen. Verstappen is trying to overtake Bortoleto, right? Verstappen is trying to scrapping with Bortoleto. Let's see, there's no mistakes from there. But don't forget, Max Verstappen will have DRS coming in. But I think good thing is that he's close enough to Alonso. Then, of course, Verstappen has to get through all this as quick as possible because he's losing ground with the leaders. Hamilton still can't catch up to Antonelli. All right, race control incident moving before the signal noted. Okay, Bortoleto might get 5-second penalty whenever he takes his stop. DRS is open. There's a DRS train coming. Look at all the DRS open. Leclerc is pulled 2 seconds away from Piastri, surprisingly. Yeah, but Lewis Hamilton still trying to catch up to Antonelli. But Hamilton's on the hard tires, so he's going to go long. Maybe he's going to do one stopper. He's going to do one stopper. It's a very good start for. Yeah, Lando Norris tried to make an early move on Piastri, but then the problem is that he gave space to Russell. Yeah, Piastri's got pressure, and then after that he loses the place to Alonso. I guess it's the weather, the cool weather is playing on, not firing the tires up hard enough. But the thing is that somehow or another, the Ferrari's finding good grip, right? Finding good grip. Right, and of course, Verstappen is chasing after Alonso. And then, going through the replays now. On the side, you get some live screens, right? And of course, Bortoleto was well away before the light turned green, right? That's Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg, too, has been noted for false start. The two false starts now, Bortoleto and Hulkenberg. The both of the Haas. The green cars are Haas now. I thought the Haas was the red and white cars. Right. All right, now, there's a long DRS train, right, behind Alonso now. Whilst Alonso, right, is holding back. Yeah. Leclerc's 2.4 in the lead now. All right, we're back to live screens. Okay, now we've got who's in front now, right? Alonso, right? There's a DRS train behind Alonso now. Norris, Russell, Piastri, and Leclerc has pulled away. The only problem is that okay, what happened to Hedger? Hedger says he's got pain. All right, fastest lap is now done by Norris. So Norris is catching up to Russell. Let's see whether I can change some of these things here. Piastri is 2.2 seconds behind Charles Leclerc, but how am I supposed to change my background here? All right, guys. Track temperature's gone up a bit. There it is. All right, got it changed. All right, now we're back into the F1 mode. Leclerc has gone up to about nearly 3 seconds ahead of Piastri. That looks good. So now Leclerc got back the fastest lap. Let's see what happened to Haja. He's saying he's got some problems, right? He ran into gravel. Oh, the gravel splits up, hits him. It hits you on the fingers. Oh, no wonder. All right. And it hurts. Yeah. Imagine it hits him. Yeah, hits the helmet and all that. The gravel comes up. Yeah. All right. Leclerc's got 3 seconds lead now. Oh, will there be a first win for Ferrari this year? Right? 5-second time penalty for car 2. Hulkenberg, false start. Norris has gone fastest lap again. Norris is pushing on Russell. But problem now is that Verstappen is stuck behind Alonso and Bortoleto. Can he catch up? Can he catch up? Right, can he catch up? Yeah, Lando's a bit cautious on the brake. Right. Let's see now what happens. Let's see what happens. Right, we all hear that Madison's injured for long. Now we need another tight cover. Yep. Let's see whether we get it. Yep. All right. All right. Still don't know what kind of injury Madison has, right? But at the moment now, Leclerc is about 3 seconds ahead of Piastri, right? And Russell's behind Piastri. Norris is behind Russell, but Norris is trying to push Russell, trying to overtake him. Yeah, we need to get past Russell. All right, now we're talking about the undercut for Piastri, or will Leclerc try to cover the undercut? There's only 2 seconds, nearly 3 seconds difference between Leclerc and Piastri. Can they do a one stop? So can Leclerc hold on for a longer run, and after that do a one stop? So when is the tire window coming in? So, but it's cool today, so that's the thing. So it's cool today. All right. So another Leclerc is being able to maintain about 2.7, 2.5 seconds lead over Piastri. I think Piastri is keeping a distance, trying not to wear out his tires. Huckelberg has got a false start. All right, Leclerc's got about 3 second lead ahead now, 2 second lead ahead now. Big up Mr. K. Hope you're doing well. If you want to join me for the F1, I think you have the link, right? Let me know. If you don't have the link, I'll send you the link. Russell's keeping Norris at bay, right? PS3 is keeping some distance to Leclerc, right? Let's see how that goes now. At the moment now, let's see what Norris can do, right? He's chasing after Russell. And Alonso is, created a barrier from the top four. It's going to be interesting. Leclerc needs to build up at least a 20-second. Okay. And somehow Leclerc has gone about 3 seconds ahead of PS3 now. PS3 is slowing down, or what is going on now? How is it going now? Norris still's got the fastest lap. Yeah, it's going to 3 seconds. Now it could end up in a 1-stop race or 2-stop race, right? Pit stops is going to come into play, guys. See how that what's happening now. The pit stops are going to come into play. Right. Yeah, Mr. K, Madison is injured again. No contact. I don't know whether he's twisted his knee or his kneecap is crushed or some shit like that. Yeah. Spurs most probably will spend more money to get a number 10 in or creative midfielder. How are we going to find number 10 a creative midfielder now? Right. And you were correct, right? Players get injured, go in, come out, and they become worse. Who's gone in for a pit? Colapinto's gone in for a pit. So I guess he's trying to do a 2-stop strategy. Alonso is having a DR train behind him. Yeah, Hajas closing down on Beerman for the 10th spot. Hajas trying to close in. Yeah, Lando Norris has dropped back out DR range because. Yeah. How long can you stay behind? How long can you stay behind the car? And where is Hamilton? Hamilton is still 4th, 14. Right, cars are coming in now for pit stops. Those who are doing two pit stops, our cars are coming in now. Who is this? Ocon is coming. Albon is coming. All right. Albon comes out of Ocon. That's closed. All right now, all right now. Let's see how it's going. Let's see how it's going. PS3, 3 seconds behind Leclerc. Leclerc looks comfortable now, right? Leclerc looks very comfortable. Marbles are all building up. Right. Russell's about 3 seconds behind PS3. And then here comes Norris. Norris is getting himself back in the DRS range. And Russell needs to overtake Russell. Norris needs to overtake Russell as quick as possible, guys. And Fernando Alonso is going a bit faster now, but he's still keeping back. Okay, Hamilton's gone up to 13 now because of all the pit stops. Since Hamilton has got the hard tires on, let's see how long it's that. All right, there's some talk between Norris and his crew. All right, he's having a lot of turbulence. Here comes Leclerc. Leclerc looks comfortable in front. And Piastri is about still hovering around 2 seconds to 3 seconds behind Leclerc. Norris is still trying to catch up to Russell. All right, we're in 17 laps now. All right, now Piastri is supposed to push now. All right, let's see. Piastri is going to push it out. It's okay. Alonso's fifth now. All right. Piastri's been told to give it all you've got now. Now they've gone down to 2.6 seconds. Can Piastri catch up to Leclerc? Ferrari looks good at the moment. Leclerc's picked up 5 podiums, but not number 1. Who's coming in now? Verstappen coming in. All right, put on hot tires. Good start. Yep. All right, let's see whether Verstappen can get an undercut out. Right, he's gone to the hard tires. All right, now. All right, plan A -5, so tires are gone. And Norris is coming in now. And here comes Oscar Piastri. Okay, Piastri is coming in to undercut. Let's see whether that happens. Hard tires coming on. All right. And Piastri will come off Alonso, but he'll be ahead of Bortoletto. Will Leclerc come in? Can Leclerc come up? Can Leclerc going to come in next? Let's see whether Piastri gets enough grip, right? Let's see whether Mercedes is going to pit. Ferrari's coming out. Box. Ferrari's going to box now. And here comes Charles Leclerc. Let's see, get a good pit stop. Battle for the lead. In, out, go. My God, stop time 2.0. Okay, Piastri is behind Charles Leclerc. Warm up, hot tires was sufficient enough. All right, let's see what happens now. Leclerc is about 1 second ahead. Yeah, Leclerc might struggle in the outlet for warm-up. Let's see whether Piastri can get close enough. But let's see whether it happens or not. If it doesn't happen, then Leclerc has a good chance of winning this race. But Piastri is about 1 second behind. Why not? Ocon and Sonoda. And Leclerc locks up on the corners. That is not that good. Piastri is chasing after him. And Norris has stayed off on the left. DRS is, let's see whether, yeah. Leclerc goes up against Alonso. Right. Leclerc moves on second. Let's see what Nando is trying to do now, right? This is supposed to be a two-stopper, right? They put on a hard, most probably 10 laps before the end of the race. They're coming for a pit stop. Okay, Russell takes over Bortoletto. And let's see what happens now, right? Here comes Piastri. And here comes Piastri. Piastri will overtake Alonso. All right, here comes Hamilton. Antonelli's coming in. And until he makes his pit stop. 3.2, that's bad. Why the pit stop so bad, right? Leclerc did his pit stop 2.0. Well, let's see what Leclerc is trying to do now. And Leclerc's got about 2 seconds lead against Piastri now. Leclerc looks like it's good, right? But it's a long race. Another 40 laps to go, 47 laps to go. So everything is that will Lando Norris coming now or later? Hamilton's come up to 11. Yeah, what's plan A or plan D, right? So plan A extend is plan A plus 5. All right. Somehow another Leclerc catching up to. Okay, Hamilton is trying. Can Hamilton get Hedger. And this is a rate track that is not easy to overtake, guys. Right? It's not easy to overtake. Max Verstappen, yeah. And Max Verstappen overtakes Hulkenberg, but Hulkenberg takes the outside of the track. Verstappen, where is he? Verstappen is 13 at the moment. There's a big and Verstappen's got DRS, and he takes, and he get it. Verstappen has overtaken Gasly. Now he's chasing after Verstappen, chasing after Hamilton. And Verstappen is having a hard time. Russell's gone fastest. Let's see how it goes now. And of course now, Russell overtakes Alonso. Russell's really close against Alonso. But Alonso hasn't pitted yet, right? But Russell has pitted, right? Hey, Miss Melina, big up, hope you're doing well, right? I'm just doing a F1 watch along, right? Yeah, it reminds me of Steven, right? Hope he's doing well too, right? I'm sure he's doing well wherever he is now, right? Right. Hope you're doing well, Miss Melina. Big up, thanks for being here. Right. Unless you want to join me for the F1, I'll send you the link, Miss Melina. Let me know. And Leclerc is leading this race. That's the big surprise, right? No, Norris is leading, but Leclerc looks like he's going to take the lead because Norris hasn't pitted yet, right? Somehow or another, I think Norris is trying to play the one-stop strategy, right? But the rest of them are on two stops, right? Was there contact? No, there wasn't contact. Might have been, might not, no contact between Russell and Alonso. Russell this time is ready. This time he's going to take it. Yep, Russell gets past Alonso. Russell's gone fastest. All right, Piastri is about 1.8 seconds behind Leclerc. Leclerc is cutting into the lead of Norris. Right. So bit by bit, right? The only thing Norris is looking for is fourth position again. Then maybe when he puts on some pressure tires on fourth position, but he's going to last longer, maybe that's the tactics they're going to have. Yeah, Hamilton is battling 11 and 10 with Hadja. Right. Right, with Verstappen, right, behind Hamilton now. Verstappen is fighting Hamilton for 11th, guys. Verstappen and Hamilton is fighting for 11th. Right. And Hamilton's running those hard tires for 25 laps. But Hamilton is not going fast enough for one stop to get into the points. But somehow or another, the pit stops will play a lot in whether you stop one time, when you stop two times, right? But this is a two-time pit stop scenario. Whilst Leclerc is cutting into Norris's lead every 1 or 2 laps, over a second for 1-2 laps. And now we're only in the 27 lap, right? So sooner or later, on the medium tires, Norris will have to come in, right? But it's not close enough. Verstappen is not close enough with DRS to do an overtake on Lewis Hamilton. It's still quite far back. But with fresher tires. right? The thing is that now is at least Hamilton has got DRS too, right, to protect himself, right? Let's see how it goes now, guys. Let's see how it goes now. And somehow now Leclerc has gone down to 6 seconds against Norris, right? Okay. Let's see what Leclerc is telling his pits. Right. Somehow or another, he's saying he can feel something that he discussed before the race. What did he discuss before the race? And let's see what he wants to do, right? So are they going to change parts? It cannot be changing parts, right? It's a tire thing, right? But at least he's still maintaining about a 1.8 second lead ahead of, right? Yeah. Okay, we're doing one stop. That means it'll be 40 laps on a hard tire. Is he up for it? 40 laps on a hard tire? Can he do it? Can he do it? 40 laps on the hard tires? Right? Okay. Okay. Hamilton, 40, 50 laps in the hard. We're going to lose this race with these things. Yeah, we are losing too much time. And why is Leclerc all of a sudden panicking like this now, guys? Why is he panicking, right? Is he struggling with the tires? Is it a wing settings issue? Something's bothering, but his pace is fine, or maybe just all talk, right? The only question now, can Hamilton hang on for 50 laps, then change into a soft? That'll be a good question there. Verstappen now is behind Hamilton, but he still can't be able to overtake him. Right, here comes, everyone's got DRS. And here comes, no. Somehow another Hamilton is doing a good job with the help of the DRS train. Right. Verstappen, can Verstappen get it? No. Verstappen can't get there. All right. There's something wrong with. Oh, that's close. And Hamilton loses a spot to Verstappen. So will there be any kind of inquiry onto that? All right, guys. There's going to have a look, right? Different camera angle. Down inside. No, they didn't touch. But good maneuver by Hamilton not to cause a collision. Russell's gone fastest now. Leclerc has gone to 4.3 seconds against Norris, right? And Norris hasn't pitted yet, right, guys? Norris hasn't pitted yet, okay? Right. The thing is now Leclerc threatens he's going to lose the race. I don't know. He's been talking the way that he's been talking, right? And somehow or another, Leclerc is catching up with Norris. Is down to 3.7 seconds now. What tactics are going to do now? So can Norris do 40 laps, right? Can he hold on? So they already said, right? Turn 6, a lot of more tailwind. Leclerc made the same mistake. All right. All right. So all I can say now is to All right, now PSG is 1.5 seconds behind Leclerc now. Leclerc is about three seconds behind Piastri now. So the notice was that to tell Lando to pit, right? You're talking rubbish. Oh yeah, the commentator is talking rubbish. All right, Leclerc. Okay, Norris is gonna box. He's boxing now. So he's gonna put up hard tires and go all the way. Will he be doing that? All right. Now let's see what happens now. All right. Leclerc. All right. Okay, this is going to be a one-stop strategy to bring Lando Norris back into contention. But he's at least he's in front of Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso is still on mediums. All right, turn one incident regarding Verstappen. Hamilton has been noted. All right, race control has noted that Verstappen Hamilton incident. Let's see whether whether Verstappen gets a penalty now. We don't know, right? Let's see what happens there now. Okay, PS3 now is chasing after Leclerc. Leclerc's got slightly fresher tires, right? But Leclerc's been complaining about certain things, right? But some other they still do need to come in for a pit stop. All right. Charles Leclerc is leading the race again. 1.4 seconds ahead. And Alonso is on a one-stop strategy. Yeah. Hamilton is on one stop. All right, let's see what happens there, guys. All right, let's see what's happening now. Spurs them. Madison is injured again. What kind of injury? I don't think Odegaard offers anything. Blah, blah, blah. There's nothing to do there. All right. All right, there's a one-stop strategy coming in now. Can they hang on all the way? Right. And Leclerc's got about 1.5 seconds. He's 1.5 seconds ahead of PS3. And of course, Russell is about 8 seconds. So 9 seconds, there's 17 seconds. Can they last that long? But probably if they're close to the end of the race, right? They put on medium tires again or soft tires, right? Yeah. Norris will lose out, even if he's ahead. Yeah, we're going to do undercut again. Yeah, Norris a one pit stop behind. Yeah. All right, we're coming halfway through the race now. Right, Leclerc all of a sudden has picked up some speed. Right, he's about 2 seconds ahead of Piastri. Right, Russell's about 8 seconds behind Piastri. Norris is about 8 seconds behind Russell. Right, so that gives Leclerc to Norris about one pit stop advantage. A 1 pit stop advantage. All right, let's see how it goes now. Can Ferrari win their first race of the season? Can Ferrari win the first race of the season, guys? This is really good pace, George. Keep it up. All right. Yeah. Simon, no worries, mate. Yeah. All right. PS3 says okay. You can get away to the end on that. You can't get it. And yeah, PS3 was asked, right? I don't think he can get to the end on this hard tire, but will he get on the end with another hard tire? That's the question. Yeah, catching so you can see the helicopter taking this camera view now. Look at that. Hard tire. Pit window is 40th to 60, 46. Yeah. So it's about 2 seconds ahead now. Leclerc is pulling away again, but somehow the PS3 can't catch up to him. Right. Yeah. Now we can see what's going on. Norris has just gone. Norris has gone fastest. All right. Yeah, let's see what happens. All right. Verstappen looks like he's going to get a penalty. Yep, we'll find out whether Verstappen gets a penalty. All right, Leclerc's about 2 seconds ahead of PS3 now. Russell's about 7. Norris about 7. So, yeah. Gaps are coming down a bit. All right, who's coming in now? Lance Stroll's coming in now. Okay. Lance Stroll is coming in. Lance Stroll has got hard tires on. Most probably it's a one-stop strategy. He's one ahead of Alex Albon. All right. Yeah. All right. Norris is catching up. Somehow or another, Leclerc's got still hanging on to about 2 seconds lead against Piastri. But Norris is catching up. Okay, Norris goes off to the gravel side. Oh dear. But luckily there's no cars behind him. Lando has to keep his focus. Don't make mistakes. All right, now, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Can Leclerc do it? Can Leclerc hang on? Right, but there still will be one more pit stop. There will still be one more pit stop. That's guaranteed. That cannot be avoided. Right, one more pit stop coming up. Right, can Piastri catch up? But you can catch up and you can overtake. That's the question. Right, but somehow or another, Norris is catching up. Okay, Verstappen is under investigation now. And here comes Fernando. Also, look at his tires. Okay, Fernando Alonso is continuing one stop strategy. The only question now is, can he last, right? All right, Piastri's caught up a bit. Leclerc's ahead, but Piastri's caught up a bit. Lando is 1.5 seconds, right? Leclerc's got 1.5 seconds, right? 1.5 seconds lead against Piastri. My problem is that once you get behind, right, the hot air and turbulence coming from the car in front will eat into your tires, right? Alonso pits at the last. Yeah. And here comes Ferrari. And Charles Leclerc goes out. Leclerc comes out in 4th place. All right, let's see now, right? Leclerc pitted first. Piastri is kept out. Russell is kept out. Norris is out. And Leclerc is about 7 seconds behind Norris. Right? Can Leclerc overtake Norris? Right? Because Norris is going to be on a one-stop strategy. Right? And then will Piastri pit? And will Russell pit? That's the question. Right? All right, the incident between, after the race now. Let's see how that goes now. Right? Max and Lewis Hamilton incident will be, right, investigated after the race, not during the race. So the penalties or anything won't come in now. If there is a penalty, Max will get it in the next following race. All right, now, guys, it's going to be an interesting round. Can Leclerc chase Norris down? Okay. Can Leclerc chase Norris down? Right. That's one thing. And the other thing is that what will happen if right, Piastri comes in? How's it going to be? Will Norris be ahead? Right. Leclerc is not making any ground on Norris. Right. But Norris is looking to overtake Russell. Hamilton is 7th. Right. So I guess the race is over for Leclerc. Why did he pit so early? Unless he has tire problems. It's over. All right, let's see how this goes now. Piastri still holding on. Why did Leclerc pit so early? Russell's got a box now. I saw another now. Leclerc's about 6 seconds. Piastri stays out again. Well, that means he's about 3 seconds behind. That means yep. Anthony goes down inside Carlos Sainz now. And Piastri is coming for the pit now. right? PS3 leader now is Norris. Okay, Leclerc passing. All right, now let's see what happens now. Let's see what happens now. Now let's see now. The problem is that can Leclerc chase up Norris? Why did Leclerc come in so early? That's my question. That was his chance to win the race, right? Right. All right, now Leclerc 7 seconds behind Norris. He ain't gonna catch up. PS3 is about 4 seconds Leclerc, so I guess he's gonna be stuck in this scenario now. There's now 20 over laps to go. Doesn't matter much though. The only thing is can Norris hang on until the end. But the point is that Norris doesn't have any turbulence or anything in front of him, so he can maintain his speed. Right. All right, now Leclerc can't even see Lando in front. Charles can't see Lando. Can see Lando in front. Can't even see Lando in front. Lando's about 7-8 seconds ahead. But you have to catch up, right? You have to catch up to the DRS zone. If you don't catch up to the DRS zone, right? Unless Leclerc's tires, drops off in the next 20 laps. Last 10 laps, Leclerc tires drop off. Then you see that, Lando's tires drop off. Then maybe you see maybe Leclerc have a chance to catch up to Norris. But at the moment now, I don't see anything happening because there's not much. Yeah. And here comes Piastri chasing down. All right, Verstappen comes in for his change. second top. Okay. PS3 is coming up against Leclerc. Okay, Hamilton over. Get past Gasly. Oh, there's some bits coming off it. And parts of body coming off. Oscar PS3 is very close to Charles Leclerc now. He's going to get DRS zone. And here comes PS3. PS3 is going to overtake. Okay, PS3 takes Leclerc. Leclerc from first drops down to. That was a bit too easy. That was too easy for PS3. Okay, Leclerc is out of it. Leclerc is out of it, guys. So it's going to be a McLaren 1-2 again. So it's depending whether it's a PS3 or Norris, right? So let's see what happens now. So now you look at Leclerc. He's dropped off about 1.7 seconds behind PS3 all of a sudden. There must be something wrong, right? Oliver Man's first retirement. Guys, not to forget, right? Unless there is a safety car coming out, then it will be bunched up again. But if it's bunched up, no matter how, I think the McLarens are faster than the Ferrari, so it wouldn't matter much though. So there goes Ferrari's chance of winning a GP this season. I think now is, can Hamilton catch up? Right, Hamilton takes 12. And someone other Leclerc is falling back. My God, it's about 38 seconds barrier between the top four. Right. 18 laps to go, guys. 18 laps to go. Can Hamilton get into the points now? Leclerc's dropping back really a lot. That means unless PS3 is picking up the speed, right? PS3 is picking up the speed. Oh dear. Leclerc is really unhappy. Leclerc is fuming, right? So, yeah, Leclerc is fuming. Because Russell is coming up on him. And Leclerc is losing a lot of pace for whatever reason. Let's see how it goes now. All right now. Norris is way ahead now. Let's see whether Piastri can catch up with him. Leclerc ain't going to be any challenge, right? So light drop of rain coming in. Is there rain going to come in now? There is a safety car, right? This question, will there be a safety car? That was saying. But I don't think there'll be a safety car the way it's going, right? Oh dear. Most probably Leclerc is going to lose out the podium to Russell. It is what it is, Leclerc. It is what it is. And Leclerc is losing a lot of pace now to Russell. What is going on with Leclerc's car? Here comes Leclerc. He has to cut past the back markers. And there's a hell of a lot of back markers coming up. And it's looking like 13 more laps to go. Somehow another Leclerc. Russell is eating into Leclerc's times. He's about 1.6 seconds now. So now the question is that how Leclerc is going to pass these 4 cars in front of him, the 4 back markers. Leclerc's about 10 seconds behind the 2 McLarens now. And it's in the twin Ockelberg and Sonoda. And pass first car. Now Russell's about under a second behind Leclerc now. Axel Rose is here too. Woohoo! Gun and Roses. Right. That's true. Let's see how it goes now, guys. Yeah, PS3 is catching up to Lando Norris. Right. Can Leclerc get past the back markers as soon as possible? All right, Russell is going to overtake Leclerc. Charles Leclerc is defending. Yeah. The problem is that how long can he hold off? Right, how long can he hold off the Mercedes, right? The Ferrari's chasing up. But of course, there's turbulent air coming in. Right. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes now, guys. Russell's chasing up to Leclerc. Can Leclerc get some DRS to thwart him or hold him back? But Russell's still too far behind here on the straight. Still too far behind the race. Right. Let's see how it goes now. All right, then. And the battle for first, second is 5 laps, right? Coming in 5 laps, you will see Lando Norris and PS3 battle for the first spot. And Russell is right at the back of Leclerc now. But the problem is right at the back, right? If you don't overtake them, right, you will get air turbulence, the heat and all that. And of course, Leclerc overtakes another back marker. So does Russell. The back markers are being easily dealt with. Once they get clean and clear air, I think Russell will get to Leclerc. And here it goes on the straights. Can Russell catch close enough? Can he see close enough? Can he be close enough? Russell closing inside, but not enough. But Leclerc close him down. Leclerc close him down. Right. Leclerc covers it off. Right. He's getting close now. I guess the next round, Russell will overtake Leclerc. And then you will see Leclerc go bonkers on this. He already knows that. He's lost the podium position. Why did he do this strategy? He told the team he wants to do his way, but they didn't want to listen. It is what it is. He has to stick out with it. He has to stick it out. Here it comes down to the 1-2, right? PS3 is about 2.5 seconds behind Norris. Pressure is coming in from PS3 soon. Yeah, moving on the braking. Yeah, Russell's not happy. Keep cool, mate. You'll get him. That was, and I think Charles Leclerc is going to have a problem. And I tell you, there's going to be investigation for that, right? Bad move by Leclerc, bro. Russell was overtaking him. He ran into his position twice, but not once. There will be investigations. The stewards will look into it. Yeah, and Leclerc is really unhappy. Look at that. It's coming in now. It's coming in now. It's coming in now. It's a replay. What? Oops. It'll crash. And Russell ain't happy, right? All right, let's see whether stewards will. I guess the stewards will investigate. And at the top there, PS3 is about broken the. He's about 1.5 seconds behind Norris now. PS3 can see Norris now. Yeah. Traffic will ruin your race, right? Yep. But you gotta hang on, right? All right. 1.2 seconds now. Now there are light spots of rain by Russell. There's light spots of rain by Russell, he's saying. But it's about another, I guess, 6 more laps to go, 7 more laps to go. Let's see what happens. If the rain comes in, will there be any problems coming out of the rain? All right. All right, Hamilton has to get out of the way. He's got blue flag. And Leclerc's going to lose more positions against after this. If he gets a 10-second penalty, will that affect him? And Alkenberg, yeah, Gasly loses 2 spots, right? And here comes Piastri. He's about 1 second behind. Here we come now. Just been given a blue flag, right? Five laps to go, guys. 5 laps to go. Somehow or another. Yeah. Can Piastri overtake Norris with fresher tires? Yep. Gasly and Sainz. Investigation causing a collision. Oh, was there a collision? We didn't notice one. Okay, there's no more traffic till end of Grand Prix, right? Piastri is chasing after Lando. Oscar Piastri is chasing after Lando, but it's not too far, not close enough. Still half a second gap, right? But one more chances coming up. Then he's got tire advantage. Let's see how it goes now. Norris his best chance now. There's no more back markers to give him. No more back markers to help Norris. Piastri is going to give him the DRS. Guys. All right, guys. This is going to be exciting, but Norris all of a sudden has moved ahead. But Piastri, can he catch up close enough? Yeah. Okay. No, not close enough. Piastri can't get close enough. Let's see how it goes now. Can Piastri get close enough, right, to get? Can he get it? Can Piastri get close enough to overtake Lando? Norris, can he do it? But the problem now is seeing how it's going. I see it's too far away. Here it comes. Here it comes. Right. I guess Lando has to punch his power. Can he lunge down? Oh, locks up. But not close enough. You're not far. You're not close enough. You can't get it done. I think Norris looks like he's going to get it settled because, yeah, you lock it up, you're going to have bumps. You're going to have. All right. Axel Rose going to waste the checkered flag, guys. No. Oh, that's really close. Can Lando Norris hold on? All right. 2 more laps to go. It's closer this time. So this time it's closer this time. No. It's the last lap now. And PS3 catch Norris now. It's Lando's race, right? Lando played a blind. I think McLaren played a blinder for Lando, going the whole way on the hard tires. Right. Can they get through it? Can he do it? Can they get it? Can Norris get it? Here comes McLaren. Okay. Lando Norris gets the race, guys, on a one-stop strategy. And I guess it's, a good strategy that he did, right? Hanged out there. He should have, I guess Leclerc should have hanged out there longer, right? And tried to do the same thing. But nah, in the end, Leclerc doesn't even get a podium. He gets a 5-second penalty because for the dangerous move against Russell. It is what it is, guys. All I can say, right? I've been sitting here for I've been sitting here for 5 hours because from Sava's show, I came and did my own show here now, right? Did the watch along for the Spurs game. There's a big news out now. I'm not sure. I have to check what's happening with James Maddison and his injuries, right? Whether he's going to still be able to play next season. Spurs will most probably have to buy a creative midfielder. And then this was one race that, Leclerc lost it, right? And of course, Norris won it with good strategy. Guys, thanks for being here. Let me give a shout out to all the people who are here. Miss Melina, Mr. K, Scott M, Eva Man, big up Eva Man, right? Chris Ali, Steve, Mr. Beehive, Steve, right? He's a Brentford fan. Donna Cullen, big up Donna. Yep. Next week, Mr. Ricky will be back, right? Don't forget, next week, Mr. Ricky will be back. Chris Agamba, the number 1 Agamba, right? And of course, we got Ricky. And not forget these, right? The guys here. And of course, Queen Ellie Hoiber. Oh, now Queen Ellie Meadows. And Meadows is going to be injured now. Ellie, sorry to say that. But guys, thanks for being here, right? All I can say is thank you for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to Spurs Vision TV. You're watching this later. And of course, subscribe to Ricky Via TV and Shelf Side Spurs, right? And smash that like and subscribe and do all the good things, the notification bell and all that. All I can say is, and as usual, and as always, Levy out. And please get us another creative midfielder.